Oh shit, Mike was muted. Shit. I was off screen. I was about to talk up a whole bunch of shit, but hey, anyway, welcome to another Any Given Sunday. This is Kev and this is Black Men Being Brutally Honest, and uh the topic for tonight is apathy, silent killer. All right. I got 13 watching already, which is great. So on the way in, press that like button, and especially for anyone who is a first timer here, go ahead hit that subscribe button because I am your weekend warrior. And always remember this: long live the habitual line steppers. So thanks for joining us tonight, even though it's just me for now. Uh, just one reason I even came to social media in the first place is to explore uh, the quote unquote disinterest than people seem to have with fixing things. And I'm not saying that we should all be responsible. In fact, I was just on here last night saying that black men are not responsible for saving the black community. Um, so why would I say that last night and then turn around and talk about apathy the next night? Because if you don't want to save the black community, isn't that apathy within itself? Yeah, yeah. So just so I won't talk myself into a corner or anything like that, or paint myself into a corner. Let me just say this for those of you who watched last night, or you can. I still have the broadcast up as I do. I leave up all my broadcasts. I don't know that. I guess that behavior would change with growth. I often see bigger players take down their broadcast after they are done talking shit about folks. I mean, just behaviors and such. But you can go back and refer to that broadcast, and many of you remember I said save the cooperative. You know, don't try to save everyone. It's not your responsibility. It's also not your responsibility to care. But not caring has this little after effect, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about apathy. Apathy. Hmm. Why do I want to talk about apathy? Because I get tired of people saying that. When I want to have a passionate conversation about things that go on in our community. Um, Besides the dumb excuse of is this a problem just exclusive to blacks, you also got to get this sometimes, and it probably burns me up just as much as the other little excuse. They ask me, why do I care so much? Or they say stuff like, what's the point in caring? Which I think is super stupid because those very same people, when presidential election comes up, they want you to be all rah rah and care about the community then and care about your people then and the direction of the country then. They want you to care then, but as far as having like your regular garden variety discussion, I mean, you ain't got to be like public enemy or some old slow tip Negro or something. You ain't got to be that in order to have these discussions. But I gotta wonder, and I gotta wonder if the large majority is willing to address or even acknowledge that there's a problem around times such as election time, or say for instance when a police officer kills a black person. You know, if you only want to do it around those times, it's like, why are you so angry when? Okay, let's talk about how this stuff doesn't happen again, or what we can do, you know, as far as grassroots and local, to try to affect some change. then that's when this little that's where the topic starts to come in. Got this little thing called apathy. Let me share the screen. Okay, 17 watching. We get some shout outs. Absalom Pianki Television. What's going on? Alonzo Hall, Ken Seeing Red. I'm listening. Bruce Almighty, just being jazzy. Sheed, we here. Yeah, I know I was a little late, so I don't know if y'all are still in the building. You probably are anyway. Shit, y'all here every week. So like I said, as you are walking in, please hit that like button. If it's your first time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe. Here every weekend, and I, you know, cranking the edited short videos back up too. So, just some interesting things for the people who sub and support and watch these broadcasts. So, all right, let's get a definition because I'm a real big fan of context here. Um, apathy. Apathy is defined, and this is, oh man, what did I just do? Hold on one second. Bear with me. Touchpad kind of stupid. Okay, we're back. Yeah. Okay. Let's see if I can highlight this. All right. Apathy is defined as lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. Asked to chat a question, and I got a screen share on, so I can't see you right now. So I'm going to trust the mods down there. How much apathy you think runs rampant in our culture? I mean, as it is localized and relates to blacks, or I always give the options: melanated, African American, brown skinned. I don't like giving the person of color label, so you can choose from the others, but take that people of color shit out of here. Um, whatever label you want to go by, however you want to identify with your ancestry or the motherland. Yeah, how much widespread apathy is in our, and let's use this word, community. Community is the word you're all most familiar with, and community is, to me, is the culmination of the culture. Because the reason why I want to talk about apathy tonight is because I think apathy is what got us in a lot of these places. Yeah. So now, as far as genders and stuff, if you want to go there and people want to start seeing black men and black women, I can point out how black men participate in apathy, and I can point out how black women participate in apathy too. Like it's this situation right here with me plays no favorites, and trust and believe whoever is complicit in it is to blame, male, female, or space alien or otherwise. So just want to get that out the way. But I hate having conversations and people say, "Why do I care so much about this?" Or "This is not all we're about." I mean, I understand that's not what we're about, but you have to acknowledge that a lot of this BS that I continue to call BS is becoming widespread, and it's important to put the word out. And you got a bunch of people that just act like they just don't care. How many times have you heard people, dismissing the fact that there are people who come to these platforms and talk about this stuff? Not necessarily because of their initial ignorance. It's just because they just really don't care, or they understand the truth, but they want to ignore it like it's going to go away if they ignore it. I'll give an example. The movie They Live. Okay, we got the definition as such. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know. A lot of people apathy. It caused a frustration in me for quite some time. I can admit that these conversations are emotional with men also, but you have to understand is that I speak from a general perspective. I don't speak. I only speak from a place of shaming when it's stupid. But the word emotion is often used on men because you want to demoralize men to a feminine level when you say stuff like that. When you say that, oh, you're being emotional. So and the only emotion that people can come up with when they talk of that and speak of that is crying. You're crying. Okay, so understand this: when people say stuff like, "Why do you care so much?" Then it'll become something like, "What are you crying about now?" It just the apathy can turn like from apathy to vitriol because people don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it. They want to ignore it like it's gonna go away. Um, you know how we act like shit don't really matter unless it affects us. Yeah, remember last year January? That's how the majority of black community felt about COVID. Remember that? Remember, like people were saying that because of the melanin in our skin that we were immune, and then black people all over the United States started getting COVID-19. Yeah, that's where the apathy stops. The apathy stops when it happens to yourself or your loved one. Otherwise, we just let it linger. We don't. We don't. We don't address it when it's a small problem. It's like a It's like, okay, if you get your oil change every 3 months in your car, it's probably going to be in better condition as a car you don't get an oil change for, or get an oil change once a year and you don't really do the regular maintenance. Which car are you going to think is going to treat you better? You know, you can't be apathetic to taking care of your possessions. Why are we apathetic toward what needs to be done in this community to get us to a higher level? And this ain't just about relationships and gender this, gender that. We're talking about other things too. The financial aspect of it, the generational wealth aspect of it. You know what I'm saying. That is a generational wealth is a talking point that is made fun of outside of the area of the manosphere. Yeah, because I mean, not only do we have a bunch of apathetic people, we are dealing with people that work to maintain the apathy, which is a sad fucking thing. So yeah, it is at time for me frustrating and is an emotional trigger because everything that we've come from, we bring ourselves to that level right there. Everything we came from, we only want to use it during election season. We only want to do it when someone in another state gets gunned down uh, from the police and uh, shit. Sometimes in your own state. And then people who rail against the bullshit, that's like the people. A lot of the people who are apathetic start pushing back against those folks. And believe me, nothing is wrong at all with looking at things from a factual standpoint. But you can't try to kill people's right to be upset about it. Yeah, frustration versus apathy. Why are you not frustrated? If you're a black person in America, why wouldn't you be frustrated? I mean, you can be yeah, and I mean it's okay to be a person that you can be stress free, nothing affects you or anything like that. But like I said, it's back to that other stuff I was saying. Sounds like I mean, and it's nothing wrong with being a positive person either. But it just sounds to me like you're just a part of the group that really just don't care. I mean, are apathetic people complicit even though they don't participate? And I mean, and like, no, I mean, sometimes they participate in the malicious acts. You got to understand. I don't give a fuck, people, which is a very toxic, dangerous form of apathy. But I do want to talk about it. And yes, if you want to say so, some of these single mothers don't care about their kids. They're apathetic toward the raising of their children. I mean, yeah, we talk about apathy too. This is a conversation about apathy. Nothing is spared in these conversations. Oh, they finna start talking about single mothers again. Okay, listen up. Listen up for those people who like. I mean, and this is especially for the manosphere haters or people who And I'm sure that we don't have that problem with the habitual line steppers. For those of you who are watching and maybe listening or might get the word out, I'm just here to tell you this: nothing is spared here. We discuss it all. Like, we understand that it ain't the time to try to be too political with it. I mean, you can be respectful. That's not that's not even in the you disrespect is not even in the tenets of being a ruthless nice guy. Tell you that right now. You can be respectful and be a ruthless nice guy. But it's like this: nobody's spared. If you are participating in the behavior that quote unquote apathetic people don't care about, don't have an interest, don't have any enthusiasm or concern in it, then you must like what's going on. The amount of apathy, like this, I may have a comedic gift up here, but this is a very serious topic. Lots of people getting hurt out there that don't need to get hurt because of people's apathy. Suppose people don't care about their community, or don't care about their child's education. You want to leave your child's education in the hands of a system that is designed for them to fail, and we expect our kids just to rain A's, B's, and shit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at least give them the way to get through it, and then educate your kids at the home. You know, just kind of sort of block some of the miseducation. Yeah, you can't be not in this community. You can't be apathetic these days. I mean, we we are having a conversation about it in some aspect. Every one of these little platforms, they got enthusiastic blacks who think all kinds of ways. You're part of the conversation. All the conversations are interwoven. I would even say even the pink pill conversations, they are interwoven into what's going on in this community. The diverse communities, the pro black community, you know, the common sense community, the conscious community, the diverse, like, yeah, I think I said diverse. And there's various male enclaves like, Ibmore, MGTOW, SYSBM. Yeah, even the habitual line steppers. All these conversations are interwoven. Yet there's this big ass level of apathy. This air of apathy everywhere. Yeah, you can even connect the bonnet situation. You're apathetic to your appearance in public, but you fight to maintain it. Folks don't like being called out, do they? You're apathetic to the effects of how, okay, this war of ideas, how one side is drastically impacting everything. And there are a lot of men on the other side that are wondering what the fuck is going on around here. It's like, damn, why aren't we using our common sense? Apathy is easy until until you finally realize what you're ignoring. Then it's a shit storm then. Because one day that car you only get an oil change once a year with, but you want to drive it every fucking where because you're so apathetic to the car's care and condition. You're gonna crank it up one day, it ain't gonna say nothing. Or it might say something, it might cough a little bit, carry you around the corner, and just say poof, no more. Not a car, I'm just a big ass piece of metal. Fuck you for not taking care of me. Yeah. That apathy is something else. And now we want to have discussions about what this apathy for our community got us. Once they signed that civil rights bill, and once MLK got that bullet in his head, that was it. That was it. And people feel how they want to feel about MLK, Martin Luther King. You know, I mean, I know that there's a whitewashed image. That's why you don't care to hear about Martin Luther King anymore. But, take it from the people who were there back then, the people you call old niggas, your elders. Take it from them. Granted, they're still here and they're still alive. You know, go and get those kinds of stories from them, and you know, let them tell you about a time where our community wasn't apathetic. Mm. The only thing you're not apathetic about is pointing the finger. Y'all care about that. Y'all care about making sure that there's one central group of men to blame. Yeah, I speak on behalf of black men. I'm not the spokesperson for black men, but understand that I can thoroughly speak from a black man's perspective. I don't know. It just makes me laugh to no end every time. I see. And this is no knock on our sisters, but it's like I see this old black men think this and black men believe that. Creating arguments, being apathy to actual accurate information. Just okay. Let's make up an argument to argue against. Let's not even give a fuck about sounding like we got some sense, or at least making it sound like it had. Like, I don't know, man. It's it's context, and it's just like actually caring about not insulting the intelligence of people. Whew. Gotta care about what you say. Can't be apathetic to that. But, there's a lot of apathy in getting to the bottom of what's really going on. Everything has to be this diatribe. Everything has to be this big ass fight. It's okay. I'm with the shits. I've been with the shits for a very long time. Seriously. I mean, it's social media. It's words. I mean, how you use some of those words is, what's going to matter in the end. You can't be apathetic to that because I done heard some people say some crazy shit that other people have, copies of the recordings and shit. I mean, gotta watch what you say on these in these YouTube streets. Motherfuckers be bringing back old tweets. Yeah. So anyway, let me go ahead and respond to some of this chat. Uh, all right. All right. Okay. I shouted y'all out some already. See, just being jazzy down there. Alonzo Hall, Absalom Payanki, Toya. What's going on? I'm listening. December 1st. Is that your birthday or something? Like Jerome D. Jerome's in the house. Longo Savage. Long live, my brother. Long live. Hmm. Apathy. The silent killer. How does that apply? How is apathy a silent killer? Apathy would require not giving a fuck in the first place. You know, no ambition, no goals, no direction. No one care what at all. It's a life of degradation. It's a life that will kill you one day. And you won't see it coming because you didn't care. You didn't give a fuck. It's cool to not give a fuck. Nothing's more heartbreaking than watching an actual friend. I wouldn't say nothing more heartbreaking. There's more heartbreaking shit than that. Because, I mean, shit. I mean, but it's kind of heartbreaking to see a friend just, have so much apathy toward himself that it's costing him his life. And there ain't nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Nothing. It's my, sure you talk to that person enough. But I mean, shit. You have you have you to worry about as well. Let me put this on the screen again. Save the cooperative. Unfortunately, there are going to have to be people that you care about that you're going to have to leave behind, and that is one of the hardest things that you'll ever have to do. It's like you sometimes people got to love themselves enough. It can be hard. Believe me. I mean, so many of these things are much easier said than done. So many of them are. But hard policies are necessary at this point. We let it get out of hand. We let our unity be affected by it because we ain't care, because we ain't think there was a problem. If there was a constant body of men talking about ways to solve the problem and actually acting upon it, if that was a constant thing from, I would say, the end of the civil rights movement until now, if that was a constant thing, then I wouldn't say that a manosphere wouldn't be necessary. It'll probably exist in some other form, like what I just mentioned. Wouldn't be these debates, these arguments, these back and forth because we know exactly where we are with each other. But that is most certainly not the case. And it's necessary right now since there's so much apathy on the outside. It ain't like you can go door to door and have these discussions. Can you imagine that? Like 35 people in here right now. 35 people. I see a possibility of 33 to 34 homes, or some of you are driving. Can you imagine me coming to y'all individually trying to say all this stuff? Shit. See, people be criticizing stuff like this kind of outreach, but this is a shortcut. I can't go door to door and say this shit. Hell, I might get attacked. Man, what the fuck you got talking about here? You know, say the community. What the fuck ever? You know? Say the cooperative. See some of these comments down here. Respond. Shaka Nulu. What's going on? And Toya is driving. Toya is driving. Why Skinner Man Cave? What up? Yep, that's the title of the show. Apathy, the Silent Killer. Got 35 watching. Let me see what's going on here. How many likes I got? How many likes? Likes are very important. Just want to tell you that much. Come on. Oh, 27 likes. That is awesome. It's a pretty good ratio, but it's 34 watching right now, so go ahead and press that like button. Go ahead. Press it. You want to. You want to press that like button. Don't say you don't want to. I can hear you say you don't want to. I'm just playing. Look. Okay, we're here to talk about apathy. Is the do you think that it's probably not even apathy, that people just make it seem like it's just apathy? Maybe it's not apathy at all. Maybe it's fear. You know, if you care, that means that somehow obligates you into at least spreading awareness. You know, and not fearing pushback. I think a lot of that apathy comes from the fact that it is amazing that you can actually have genuine concern, and then people push back on you, say stuff like you're being negative or you're looking for shit to be angry about. Yet and still, they will complain about the lack of black male leadership. They will complain about black men specifically not being there for their children. They'll complain about all this stuff, but are apathetic to the conversation. I don't care about what them niggas talking about. Well, okay, stop complaining then. We can help you get to the bottom of this. I just don't like it. People just, I don't know. I guess they call that shit, I don't know, another talking point that's made fun of. Moving the goalposts, doing everything they can to avoid it. It's like I said, it's like Keith David in the movie They Live. Once Roddy Piper tried to get him to put on the glasses, he was like, "No, I don't want to put on these glasses. I'd rather fight you and punch you in the face. I don't want to see the truth." A lot of these people out here are some Keith David ass motherfuckers. Like Keith David, all the respect in the world, one of the best voice actors. But I think his character in that movie had a point, because once he did put on them glasses and saw the truth, and it was like, oh man, he ended up dead. Spoiler. Spoiler warning. So I mean, it's like that's an actual real kind of fear. You know, fear that leads to apathy. If I just not care about it, you know, and focused on the positive things, everything will be okay. I get it, but nobody wants. I mean, and that's not really fair to ask people to be angry about shit 24/7. Raven Knight, what's going on? Was hope was always hoping for a sequel without bubblegum. Well, so like, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, but I mean, you weren't gonna be able to use Roddy Piper. Spoiler warning: his character died. Yep. Keith David. Yeah, he ended up how he thought he was gonna end up if he knew the truth. Dead. Yeah, yeah. But shout out to everybody joining this broadcast tonight. And by you watching, that shows that you have taken the first step toward apathy recovery from apathy. Yeah, or you just simply chose to tune in because it's any given Sunday. Because I can't be apathetic. I mean, I'm not somebody that's gonna run back and forth like a chicken with the head cut off. Southeast Dusty, what's going on? Good to see you. Yeah. Oh shit. I wouldn't say run yourself crazy because if you focused on every fucking problem for the seriousness and the gravity of what is happening and what could happen, you'll be stressed the fuck out. I mean, you'll be grayed up, like your gray hair be there before the age of 32. Oh yeah. By the way, I don't know. I heard this dude trying to roast this guy earlier about gray hair. He was like, "Man, if you're gonna say something to me, at least you could dye your beard from all that gray in your hair." Like, that's how y'all roast people these days. You apathetic to funny? Shit. I mean, I would hate to be in a beef with somebody at this point because see, they'll start talking about the gray in my beard, and then I'm just like, "Oh my god, I'm so done." They talked about the gray in my beard. That's it. Oh, I'm down for the count. Haters everywhere we go. Like, that bullshit. Yeah, so let me do this real quick. That's why I hate to get in a beef with somebody. Man, I don't study no beef, man. I'll tell you something. There's a lot of YouTube around here for everybody. Why y'all beefing? Boom. There you go. There you go. That's what I look like. Just think of that, but add like a year of age to that photo. That's me. You'll get me. So yeah. Read this bottom of the screen. Everyone who watches this, I'm gonna say some things repeatedly, and until y'all get quite used to me. Just read the bottom of the screen. Everything you need to know about the broadcast will be scrolling across the bottom of the screen, including I did include my Cash App for whatever I use. I'm calling fair use. Um, if you are a panelist, um, your voice, your avatar, or your likeness for whatever you choose is the property. You understand that it is the property of this platform until YouTube. YouTube is going to be the ultimate denominator until they delete it. So I'm claiming fair use. So don't be trying to pull no fly shit because it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. Also, I use harsh language here, which is, I mean, I don't think anybody has the virgin ears if you've been listening to me at all. I mean, I probably use profanity in 100% of my edited videos and my broadcasts. So, I mean, for those of you who might be a bit taken aback by that, I mean, it's like every place ain't for everybody. So, all right. So there you go. And oh yeah, and I got that Cash App down there too. I mean, I'm really gracious to any monetary donation I get, whether it's Cash App or the Super Chat. I mean, it's cool. It's cool stuff, and they're always much appreciated. So, all right, it's been 45 minutes. We got 40 plus people watching. Great. Welcome to the show. Let's see. Got 36 likes. Oh, that's pretty good. But okay, so one of you watching down there hasn't pressed that like button. Go right ahead. Yeah, look out. Do some do some good looking out. Also, if you are a subscriber, go check out my community tab. Put another meme there that you should enjoy. All right, but there's all right. Tyrone Church, what's going on? Tyrone Church, we got Hybrid Impact 83. Big Kev is Mayweather and the haters Logan Paul. In other words, Big Kev beat them haters like a set of drums tonight. Yeah. Let me comment on that fight. I'm a little apathetic to the result because, like I said, nothing surprises me. Um, but Mayweather better not lose. It's just I don't want Mayweather to lose. I mean, if Mayweather to lose, you know the next step. You know what's gonna happen, right? Mayweather gonna have to learn how to actually take on the biggest challenge of his life. He gonna actually have to learn how to read. I mean, he's undefeated in boxing, but as far as like literacy, he is very defeated. So I mean, he money Mayweather, but oh, oh, so Raven Knight, he say he met his dad. You met Mayweather Senior, the guy who constructed Mayweather Junior. Black Dad. The fight, the fight was born, and there wasn't any winning, no judges. So it was an exhibition. Also met his mother, great people. I mean, like, yeah, whether he can read or not or whatever. I mean, he's mega successful, and he wouldn't be there if it wasn't for his parents. Remember that. Wherever you are in life, if you had your parents present, they are responsible for where you are today. My parents are responsible for where I am today, in front of a laptop. I mean, hey, I mean, she gave birth. My mother gave birth because my father did some stuff, and that's what happened. So blame them and me. But I do get a little tired of the apathy. Let's get back on topic. I do get tired of the apathy. It's bullshit. It makes me sick. I mean, what is so hard about a conversation? So you're gonna get a commentary of the fight, Hybrid Impact. Mayweather outclassed Paul and frustrated him. Surprise! Paul kept hugging and putting his weight on Mayweather to wear him out. Uh, okay. I mean, if I were to go with the boxer and the YouTuber turned boxer, I probably would go with the boxer. Yeah, they got Tyron Woodley and Jake Paul. Tyron Woodley. I'm not even real sure if Tyron Woodley is contracted with the UFC still. I mean, awesome, amazing fighter, but he's going in there against Jake Paul, the heavy-handed Jake Paul. I mean, what is going to happen? I mean, I'll tell you what's going to happen definitely. Jake Paul is going to have a big payday. That's what's going to happen. Say, is that true about his reading level? Okay, let me put it to you like this. I was just kind of bullshitting around. I just 50 Cent trolled him about it, and people say stuff on the internet. But that man, maybe he might, I don't know, he might have a library full of books that he has like put inside of his brain reading. So, I mean, it might just be a public interest. The only thing that, like, here's what I'm saying: the only thing that people care about Floyd Mayweather Jr. doing is boxing. like really honestly, do we? I mean, like I say, I cracked on his reading level, and if I was wrong, I'm just wrong, and that's it. But he's a boxer. I mean, let me put it to y'all like this. Everybody was like Floyd Mayweather, oh, Logan Paul may take him out. Bullshit. Like people need to factor in something called muscle memory. Once you get used to once Once you get used to moving like that, and that's all you've been doing all your life, the body never forgets. Hybrid Impact 83, Tyrone got released by the UFC. It would be a great fight, but boxing is a lot different from MMA. I agree, because you have to actually stand up. I'm going to give you an example in just a second. Paul has the upper hand, yet Woodley is tougher. If he lands multiple times, he can put Paul away. I don't think Tyron Woodley's ever been TKO'd. I'll check that in a minute. Uh, but here's an example. James Toney went into the UFC. He went in and he fought Randy the Natural Couture. Now, if anybody know who James Toney is, James Toney had a jaw like a jaw of steel. You couldn't knock him out. So Randy Couture took him to the ground and tapped him. He didn't try to stand up with him. So that is a factor. I mean, remember Ben Askren. It wasn't a wrestling match, it was a boxing match. And while I don't particularly like Jake Paul, his marketing strategy is second to none. That kid is making a ton of money off pissing these guys off. And guess what? Tyron Woodley's going to make a ton of money on that fight too. Ben Askren made a ton of money just to go in there and get knocked out and make the YouTube kid look good. Shit. Tyron Woodley, shoot. If Tyron, just like it's things like I feel that way. Like a lot of us don't care anymore. We'll root for that white dude and everything. It's all good, but we're apathetic to the culture. It's like something in you has to tell you. It's like, okay, I hope Tyron Woodley go in there and whoop Jake Paul ass. Something in you's got to say it. Let's see. Absalom Payanke. Paul is like any other European male. They will endure a beating with no problem. They're also clever in business. He just made 100 million. 100 million. 100. Jake Paul, not Jake Paul. Logan Paul just made 100 million off of that one fight. What? Good Lord. 100 million? Roger the Bill Marker. The Paul got any hands? I don't know. Does it matter against Floyd Mayweather? The guy with excellent muscle memory? Floyd made 10 million. But, he's about a billionaire, so. Hybrid Impact 83. Woodley needs that money after his nasty 2-year divorce. He had to move back with Mama Woodley. He had to fight to see his kids. Lost his house and mad resources. Wow. Yeah, men be getting tore up out here, man. That's why we have a lot of these discussions here in the Black Manosphere. Robert Nelson. I don't know, just asking fuck 50 shithead. Yeah, kind of. I mean, like, I agree with that sentiment, and it's for this reason. It's like 50 Cent was despite what happened with him and Ja Rule, which I think is a deeply personal thing, the way 50 Cent had all that smoke for black men, all that smoke, man, trying to ruin lives, be a bully. And then when it came to his ex-girlfriend, Chelsea Handler, he folded. He fucking folded just like that. So, hey, very shrewd businessman, very, very cruel internet bully. But, like, he got showed up when it mattered. Well, at least it mattered to me. I mean, it ain't got to be worth a fuck to everybody else. Floyd made 10 million. That's what Absalom Pianki says. Yeah, that's $10 million though. But that is crazy. Stoic One, what's going on? Rogish the Bill Monger. Let me see. Logan Paul fought this guy named KSI. I watched some of that fight. I watched some of that fight. I wasn't really interested because it was like, I don't know, I guess it was too showy for me. But KSI beat him. Oh, Donnie, long live the habitual line steppers. Said made way more than that. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's believable. Yeah, even though it is $10 million, that's low for Money Mayweather. But 100 million? 100 million? Shit. I don't went in there acting like I was a boxer or something. Shit. Black Life Revelations 2. What's going on? Stoic 1. If I haven't called you out yet. Shouted you out rather. Shoot, calling out. That's aggressive. Call you out, motherfucker. Oh yeah, man. Y'all thanks for coming to this broadcast. Rogish the Bill Monger. Let's see what he's. Let me put this up on the screen. Rogish says most of my childhood hip hop heroes unfolded time and time again when it came time to stand upon some black equity. Okay, well, here's Rogish the Bill Monger to explain his stance. Primetime VA. Adam Williams, what's going on?
Long live the habitual line steppers. Peace,
Long live, long
all
live.
day, all
Yes,
day.
and did you hear the part where I said that like I better not get in a beef or somebody's gonna talk about the gray in my beard? I'm like, man, like damn, y'all don't know how to roast no more, man. Not like some of us do. Like some people I wouldn't fool with, but it's like, damn, these people consider that funny.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess that's they assume you somebody that's want to evade reality or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's
I
like,
guess.
eh,
I guess.
I don't know. I ain't got no problem with cats who dye their beards and shit. My only thing is, damn, you can tell that it's dyed. So it's like that's the only reason I don't do the shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying?
I
Salt
don't
and
know.
pepper.
I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's an integrity issue.
Mm.
But if it's supposed to be like that, I'd just rather show folks, and that be it. I do understand that a lot of people in Hollywood do not, they keep dyeing their shit black so they can have a younger appearance.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
like, and for real, a lot of these motherfuckers that's gray for real, they look like some decrepit sons of bitches. They ain't yeah. So
I don't know. I've always looked forward to it though. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like that one character on Tekken. You know what I'm saying? I forget his name, but it's a brother. You know what I'm saying? All grayed out, but you know what I'm saying?
You talking about Leroy?
Leroy. You know what I'm
Leroy be
saying?
whooping
Muscle with it. You know what I'm talking about? Shit.
Leroy got them hands, man.
Already, cuz already. So I'm looking forward to it. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And back in the day, you know what I'm saying, in the 90s, nobody ever thought they lived, you know what I'm saying, get gray hair or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, that's a badge of honor as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it is. Like it's like some of us didn't make it to that stage, man. I mean, it's a shame.
Facts. Facts.
It's a shame, but hey, so what is the indelible effect of apathy upon us in our community? And I got 42 likes, so keep them likes coming, y'all.
I think with apathy, oh man, this is a hard one because the thing is, it depends on how it's defined. And you know, so are we talking for a lack of productivity, a lack of drive, lack of motivation? What are we talking about?
Everything.
All right. So we're just saying
Yeah. We're just
the
having a general.
pressures.
It's the indelible impact it has had on the black community, and what
Man,
point it has gotten us to that that some of us here within the space say that we're trying to fix.
I mean, personally, I ain't gonna lie to you, cuz I ain't gonna lie to you. Personally, I really find it an act of apathy for us to try to effort towards, you know what I'm saying, solutions while in the United States currently as it is. Because to me, the history shows that they're against any type of, you know what I'm saying, overt improvement or uprising of value and quality for our sector of the society. So it's like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I've always had apathy, but my apathy came from not spilling red rum when I think I'm supposed to. You know what I'm saying? You conflicted with that shit.
Mm.
Sometimes you're supposed to spill some red rum, but then you got to think about, all right, well, what the law want to say about it? Well, it's like, wait a minute, but the law ain't, you know what I'm saying, recognizing my humanity right. I recognize my humanity right, so I can carry that out. You know what I'm saying? But that, what you know what I'm saying? So in the whole aspect of being apathetic, you get sick of wanting to try, you know what I'm saying? Or you just go along with whatever you know what I'm saying the matrix framework is. You know what I'm
Yeah.
talking about?
Hey. I'm reading this meme right here. I want to read this meme to you. I might even put it up on the screen because it's so stupid. But I don't know. You can tell. Let me see what age group this guy with. Oh, one of these old motherfuckers that swear he all historic and shit. This motherfucker a correctional officer. This man
Okay.
posted this meme. Let me read it. I wish like, and it's a picture of Kevin Samuels and Shahrazad Ali. Here's
Okay.
the here's the caption.
Yo, put it in the thing though. Put it in the thing though.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, it's bad. It's better to be visual on these platforms. So let me go ahead and set it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna read it, and I'm just gonna show you how obviously dumb it is. It's like, I don't know.
How can they mess that up though? It's like, see, damn, that's fucked
Yeah,
up. Those two great
I'm gonna show
subjects.
you how they can mess it up, man.
Yeah.
Like, let me.
Is
Uh,
has she been immortalized yet? You know what I'm saying? Is she like right up there next to Martin Luther King on people's, you know what I'm saying, doors or windows or whatever now? I mean,
Shahrazad,
she need her props.
Shahrazad Ali is not politically correct, so they're gonna be hard pressed to welcome her into any of those ball clubs. Which is
Wow.
yeah, I'm just saying is the truth when you are a truth teller, and we show love to Shahrazad Ali for her past efforts
Yeah.
and her returning to the scene.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've all
That's a goddess right there. That's a goddess.
yeah. So I have a real like horrible failure to understand why this person would even come up with this meme
Mm.
that I'm about to show you.
Damn, it's that much hate in it.
No,
Damn.
it's not. It's not hate. It's just
Uh,
it's a lack of like actual understanding, and it's
oh, okay.
like I mean, it's like one of these motherfuckers that think they know everything, but you don't know shit.
Ah,
It's like, all right,
one mind holds not all knowledge.
yeah, man. This mind holds a very limited like I don't know, that motherfucker must have went back like 2 months. These people are goofballs. There we go.
How can anybody stand? Okay, look, the only thing you can stand against when it comes to KS is the whole, you know what I'm saying, high value man thing, right? In an aspect
Well,
of when
they're gonna be mad at KS because he telling black women the truth instead of telling them what they want to hear.
where you can't stand against him for that. He ain't telling them the truth. They show up as lies.
All right,
What the
this
fuck?
is this is the meme that I just got off Facebook, and let's read this. Read the caption,
All right. That's
and
it.
we're gonna talk about what's wrong with that caption.
All right.
I mean, it's not gonna take much. It says, "I wish y'all showed Shahrazad Ali the same amount of love y'all showed Kevin Samuels." Shrugs emoji. She's been telling black men and women the truth without degrading them for decades.
Oh, come on now. Degrading. Get the fuck out of here.
Always,
How does
always the
he
BS trigger words. Always
look
the BS.
look? This shit is like what's that like? It's like jurisdiction. You know what I'm talking about? This is jurisdiction science. He sets the principle within his jurisdiction. They arrive already with the intent, seeking to see if they meet up with it. So that means they already got to be ready for assessment, you know what I'm saying, a judgment. They already subconscious or whatever. There's no degrading with that. Look at who showed the fuck up. If they showed up as, you know what I'm saying, some quality, he ain't finna treat them like shit. What the fuck? They show up busted, you know what I'm saying? With
No, what it
arrogance.
is, what it is that Hey, hey,
Two
hey,
hundred pounds. That's what the fuck you doing? 200
what
pounds.
they're doing. Okay. Hey, but 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 what they're doing is that by just even presenting the meme in this framing, they're still trying to pit the genders against each other.
Oh yeah.
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 Now they call themselves uplifting Shahrazad Ali and sisterhood. And this was posted by New York.
Wow, I didn't catch that. Oh my god.
Yeah, and I mean,
Damn.
you caught the first part. You caught
Yeah,
the first
yeah,
part.
yeah.
You caught the first part. Like Kevin. That's what Kevin Samuels is doing. Degrading black men and black women.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
by telling them the truth.
Ooh, you
Like,
caught that nuance, dog. Nice one. Nice one.
yeah. They're trying to pit black men against black women with this bullshit, and then plus the
Right.
whole premise of it is false. We've always showed love to Shahrazad Ali.
Facts.
Yeah. And I mean, like Kevin Samuels, he's basically, I mean, with the time he's been in the game compared to the time Shahrazad Ali has been in the game, Kevin Samuels is basically a newbie. Somebody else that's just trying to invalidate a black man some kind of way. And then
Wow.
and they're using the great Shahrazad Ali to do that.
But see the thing. But see, that's the thing. It's so unfair because the thing is, the women are seeking the show. He didn't say y'all bring y'all asses up in here and
You better
you know
call
what I'm
me.
saying
Because,
and you read the right way.
yeah, and then amongst the crazy Facebook claims, Kevin Samuels is supposedly paying those women to show up just to degrade black women.
Oh wow!
That's what I
No
like.
accountability whatsoever. See, this is what I'm talking about. How wrong can y'all let each other be, man? What the fuck? That ain't no tapping on the sister's shoulder. Sisters ain't permitted to tap
No,
other sisters on the shoulder.
ain't nobody
I
I
mean, you
read.
saw what they did to Monique. I mean, like, damn, man, that was the most love that they was going to get in that situation. Nigga, and look, this is the thing, bro. It's the same reason why I say I don't like listening to Martin Luther King, because I'm very pro-violent. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, the way he believed in his stance, it's like shit. Y'all please believe this non-violent motherfucker, because he's serious. He loves you. He's turning cheeks. Please accept him, because there ain't no way I'm finna go that motherfucking route when I see how y'all treat him. Nigga, this Magneto all day. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? The love, they don't accept the love. You know what I'm saying? Monique approached with the love. Look at how they did her. That is so fucked up.
I mean, when they talking that shit and being comedians and being entertaining and all that other stuff, when Monique was telling them the elbow skinny bitches, they was all right with that.
Yep.
But when you say no bonnets in public, all of a sudden it's like, I'm gonna wear my bonnet. God damn it! Like what? What are you fighting for?
Did they speak out against her when she started losing weight too? Like, I understand she started pushing, you know what I'm saying, health consciousness for a little bit.
Let me tell you something. Adele, I know she's white. She's a singer.
Yeah.
When she lost weight, she got attacked by feminists for losing weight.
Wow.
Yeah, and then she started dating that. She started dating. I think a lot of that was she started dating that black dude. That's what a lot of that shit was. But a lot of these girls.
Sisterhood is a fucking illusion, man. Ain't no motherfucking sisterhood amongst them. They can't have one. It's all competition, ladies. It's all competition. God damn.
Like Shahrazad Ali finna fall for this bullshit. Like she see this meme. What you mean they showing Kevin Samuels love? What about me? Everybody don't think like you. Out there, like everybody don't think like me. Like
okay,
shit.
and after talking about showing her love, are they talking about adhering to the principle that she presents? Or they're just trying to knock Kevin down off the pad so that, you know what I'm saying, he ain't number one trip.
They try to use Shahrazad Ali to throw shade at Kevin Samuels. Talking about they trying to, like I said, they trying to say Kevin Samuels is degrading black men and black women. And it's like, if you look at your own actions as degrading, you might need to act another motherfucking way.
You see what Raven Knight put up there?
If Monique was offering free weave, they would have. Okay, hold on. I got to put that on the screen. y'all gonna have to deal with this screen share for a second, man. Because see, that right there is unbelievable.
Oh,
It's unbelievable, but it's very plausible.
That's a trigger word over here. That brings them over here.
Weave.
Them
niggas talking. They can't do nothing but talk about weave all the damn day.
They should understand how important it actually is, because it's like look, if motherfuckers want to see you in your natural that much, why not just try it out? Why not just see what the desire is so damn much? You know what I'm talking? Just try it out one time, baby.
Man, that shit must be massaging their scalp, man. like the weave just get up there and it just brushes ever so gently up against the front part of their forehead, like
it deadens their glow so much, man. It just deadens their glow for real.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does. I mean, they talk about protective styling and the bonnet.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna wear this bonnet because I just did my hair and blah blah blah.
Protected from what though? That's my thing. Protected from the elements. I thought the motherfucker was built for that.
They're trying to hide that chia pet. That's all that shit is.
I mean, or at least the chia pet is built for the elements. Shit, nigga, nappy is natural. Shit. Ain't no wrong with the chia pet. Shit. Hey, that bramble bush at the top. Shit, you know what I'm talking about? I mean, shit, what you gotta think about it. What the hell, how the hell else is homie gonna keep a crown of thorns on his head? You know what I'm saying? With the moosey slick back shit? Nah. You gotta have that bramble up there, man.
Shit. All right, shout out to Nick. Shout out to Nick O. And shout out to Ika Jimmy. What's going on?
Respect.
Yes. Hiring Impact 83. He can't believe it. He can't.
I'll tell y'all gonna bring him over here, man.
I can't believe it, yo.
I heard 6 men on the panel talking about weave, and I just want. All right, whatever, chick.
Said Bunny N7 from Mass Effect. You know how you're the main character, Shepard, and you have him in the bedroom and shit.
Yeah.
She come out with a bonnet on. She's like, tell her to get the fuck out. Like,
oh snap! Oh, but see, this is the thing. Like, okay, so let's get back to being apathetic, right?
Yeah.
All right. So what do let's list some things that can bring on an apathetic mind state. Natural, right? So it starts off from pressures.
Start what? Precious? You talking about the movie Precious?
No, pressures. Pressure.
Oh, like, yeah, let's see this correlation.
Yeah, let's okay, interesting. Let's see what the nigga over this. All right. No, it starts off from pressures, right? Various pressures, right? And then because the whole thing is one actually giving in to whatever that I guess is supposed to withstand by, or whatever. You know what I mean? So what are some of those pressures that can bring on apathy in the cultural perspective for our sector of society?
What can bring about apathy?
Mm-hmm.
As far as our sector of society, I don't know. That's kind of complex to answer, but I would probably say it's probably the most basic one is upbringing.
Right.
You know, if you're raised to not give a fuck, or you weren't raised to implement certain systems,
right.
like brushing your teeth and washing your armpits and stuff like that. Yeah, it's gonna spill over into other aspects of your life.
Yeah, no, but that's like, no, you ain't brushing your teeth and just washing your ass. That ain't necessarily apathy. That's just what I'm saying.
Laziness.
Nah, it ain't laziness, because the thing is, a person that grows up into that is permitted to grow up into that. So it's like you said, that's how they raise, right? No, we're talking in an aspect of apathy to where one that is giving input, effort, and engagement withdraws from that.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So like, all right, so what I'm saying, I've been on some, what I'm saying, everybody killing shit, what I'm saying, since I was a little kid, right? But the thing is, I had to withdraw from that when I realized that, all right, what I'm saying, black folks still want, what I'm saying, law enforcement as is to so-called protect them. What I'm saying? Despite whatever the fucking history is or the present with it, what I'm saying? And if they have somebody black who does present to them, what I'm saying, and following the law aspect of however the law
Hey,
so-called, supposed to go, they won't go for that, even though this lawful is lethal to them, right? So
mhm.
develop some apathy in an aspect of thinking of approaching from the protective aspect. You know what I'm saying? Like, some kids thought they was brought here to protect the village. Some people were brought here to protect the village. Some people brought here to heal the village. Some people thought brought here to build the village. You know what I'm saying? Just how it go. So, yeah, apathy in that regard, having to withdraw from, I guess, something that was possibly once a duty, a task, something that was, saying regular put forth in acquiring or developing.
Hmm, okay. Let me read this comment Nico said, and then gonna turn it over to Donnie. Says the black community. But by the way, what's up, Nico?
Peace, peace.
Uh, the black community has devolved into such a gynocentric cesspool that we have obese, masculine, unintelligent,
Mm.
etc., demanding nothing less than a man that is a top 5 percenter. Literally unbelievable.
Yeah, that's bizarro.
Yeah, that is bizarro.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not. And here's a lie told about this space right here, or more specifically to KS. That KS is telling average men that they deserve high value women.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You talk about the idiot farm, but that's what they want to spread misinformation. And the proof is in the pudding. I'll just put it like that. Don't necessarily believe someone just because they say it, because that's a lot of that shit. You don't care to find out the actual information. You just let someone do the work for you. You put that kind of trust in people's hands without doing the research first. And I mean, you probably deserve every shortfall you get. I mean, even like
Facts.
I will say, even with me, if you feel like what I've said was wrong, just like I was like, I was talking about the Generation Y and millennials and shit yesterday, and forgot who was that corrected me. Said Gen Y are millennials. I was like, whoops, I stand corrected.
Okay.
Because I was basically referring to Gen Z, the Zillennials.
Okay.
So it's like I said, if I'm wrong about something, and we're not too proud here because I've seen chats where they would disagree with the host, or they would disagree with the panelists, and motherfuckers just start going off. "Ah!" We don't do that here. So
I
I
mean, well, the
mean,
thing is, we all want to be accurate. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
If
yeah,
someone can help one, achieve accuracy, all input is welcome on that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't just let me be wrong.
Exactly. Please.
Correct it, because we're all about correction here. I
Please
just
believe.
like believe me, a lack of apathy is appreciated.
Yeah.
So, all
Yeah.
right, Donnie, what's going on?
What's up, my man? I'm just really trying to catch up. I've been doing little errands and stuff in the house, trying to get shit done. Uh, Taking my
Oh yeah.
wife's lead because she's the leader. She wears the pants in my household.
Oh man. Oh darn, Mr. Wade.
Yeah,
How's, how's
my
it
wife
work for you? Keep an eye on
is
that
best friends
son.
with Gabby, with Gabrielle Union.
Uh,
But no, I'm just trying to figure out the conversation what y'all talking about, what y'all chopping it up on, so I can kind of weigh in if I can weigh
yes. The topic for this broadcast tonight is apathy, the silent killer.
in. Oh hell, where you going with this?
Like how people just don't care about this place, leading to the ultimate detriment of the concept of a community itself. And I mean, like, there are some people that would probably say that, just like Shaka Nulu said earlier, that, there's nothing wrong with a little. Let me see if I get the context right. I just don't know. I don't want to say it wrong, and the man's in the chat. Let me scroll back up to that comment. Where is the comment? There it is. He said nothing wrong with being a little apathetic sometimes. It's not always a bad thing. That rings kind of true.
Well, I'm apathetic about bonnets.
You mean to tell me that you didn't join the bonnet bro brigade?
No, I'm apathetic when it comes to this bonnet depression.
Look, apathy. I admit, apathy ain't been a cool thing for me. It ain't been a cool thing because you know what I'm saying. You feel like that the purpose that you're here for, you can't fulfill the purpose. So it's like, all right, damn. So what you supposed to do then? You know what I'm saying? Especially sitting with, you know what I'm saying, the energy that you're supposed to be putting out into the system or whatever, and you know what I'm saying, apathy setting in because you understand, okay, well, ultimately the value of specific input ain't got much worth to it. So now what do? You know what I'm saying? How do you switch from let's say, you know what I'm saying, you're a freedom fighter and now your ass gotta get a motherfucking 9 to 5. You know what I'm talking about? Well, you know, first you've been, you know what I'm saying, freedom fight for a history of those freedom fighting generations and all this. And having to switch up that entire social dynamic, like I think there's an anime
by Tuesday, Jim. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, cause you know what I'm saying, like there's an anime of a Japanese gangster who turns into a house husband.
Oh, I was watching that shit. That shit had me in fucking tears.
That shit, that's what motherfucking apathy is. From time to time, you know what I'm saying, he get them motherfucking murder urges. Like, wait a minute, somebody jump out of pocket the way they ain't supposed to. He's like, well, damn, you know, this is all things I can do to put you back in. And he thinks about, you know, saying 5 things that result in the red rum being spilled. That shit is beautiful.
Okay, all right. So I'm asking y'all what y'all think of Nico's statement. Nameless protagonist. I think you're talking about the Yakuza. For sure. Is that on Netflix?
Yes, on Netflix. Yeah.
It's a good show. I couldn't watch it all, but it was some little things in there that was kind of funny.
Quit hiding in the chat. Nameless, come on, cuz.
Cosby Prince here.
Yeah. He was let me see. Perfect timing is here. What's going on? Nico said, expounded upon my previous point, look at the Cosby Fresh Prince era, where the normative presentation of a black person was dignified, discipline, education, etc. The bonnet is not the root issue.
Well put. No, it is the issue is that the deterioration of an assumed social standard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Saying we're devolving. We're devolving. I think Nico did say that about something about de-evolution, but we're devolving. Like it's getting shit getting dumber.
It's like with white folks, right? When you look at white folks and white culture, you see them on TV. You typically see the upper to middle class white folks on TV. They have a bit of dignity to them. They've got some standard in their lives, and the ones that they typically hide are the rednecks, the hillbillies, their underclass, right? They hide the motherfuckers that live in the backwoods, that fuck their cousins and all that shit. They hide the motherfuckers who come out.
Oh yes.
All that shit. They don't acknowledge them. And then when they do see them in public, what do they say? Oh, that white trash. They call them out for what they are. In our community, the rednecks are the ratchets, right? The hillbillies are the Section 8 livers. And you don't call them out and say, hey, listen, you motherfuckers is trash. Get the fuck up out of here. No. That's the standard blueprint for what it is to be black in America. So that's what the problem is in our community. Our community is accepting the bottom tier people.
So it doesn't have a proper elitism. It doesn't have a proper elitism.
We got rid of the shame. And the problem is the shame was here for a fucking reason. And it held a lot of niggas in check and in their rightful place. And then we got rid of the shame. And now it's I'm minding my own business. Why aren't you minding your own business? Bitch, because you own food stamps and I technically pay your rent.
Well, hey, there you have it. But perfect timing. What's going on?
How y'all doing this evening, brothers? Thank you for having me on the panel, man. How y'all
Oh
doing?
yeah.
Peace, peace, D.
Peace, peace, peace. It's a great topic, and Kev, you had a great video, man. I'm really jealous, and I'm upset with you, man. It's a competitive energy, man. You really whooping their ass out here, and you inspiring me. I got to get some pre-recorded content. That was a great video. And when you said the other day about you taking 2 years to get to 1,000, it's really evident in your pre-recorded videos. So I just want to give you props, man. That was a great video, and I love how you going in on this topic. What I said is, what I chose to say is that it's a race to the bottom. You know, a lot of people made jokes about it, and in your video, I love how you show the different individuals, how you show Ludacris and the men wearing the bonnets. And what I said is, I took the definition from Google. Somebody got echo is echoing. I took the definition from Google, race to the bottom, and it was a business definition. And I kept digging into it because it has so many similarities to what's going on. And what it talks about is how in a race to the bottom, a nation or a person, it denies regulation. It denies a standard in order to receive a certain benefit. And this is what we talk about with the gynocracy when you talk about Section 8, when you talk about food stamps, when you talk about all of these things. It's individuals and denying a standard. Or you can have sex in the house, or your boyfriend could sleep over, or you could smoke weed in the house, or you don't feel good, baby girl, you ain't got to go to school today. This is the race to the bottom that I'm describing. And when you say it's not the root cause, no, but it's symptomatic of what's going on, because I related to an individual because Kev put in the video a mother, and I've been in schools with these moms, and a mother dropping the kid off to school, and it wasn't a bonnet on her head. It looked like some dirty panties and a dirty t-shirt. That son,
damn.
that son clothes is not clean. That son hair is not cut. That son is the child who could not read in school. So it's not a small thing. That's why I said it's a race to the bottom, and it's symptomatic, and we got to relate it back to these children. And then I said, my next show to not harp on this is going to be a race to the top. There was an initiative in 2009. So if individuals think that we bashing it is not a race to the bottom, it is a race to the bottom. It's such a race to the bottom that Barack Obama created an initiative called a race to the top to handle K through 12. And I believe an initiative failed. I believe it was driven at these boys not being able to read. But just like the my brother, nothing that is going to help black boys is successful. And this initiative was not pointing a finger at the students. It was holding teachers accountable, and it was unsuccessful. So that's going to be my next topic. So I'm not going to just talk about the race to the bottom and beat up on these individuals who choose to have this mental illness. I'm going to talk about how black boys are being affected and how they are not reading because these individuals who y'all want to say is no big deal. No, there's a correlation to our children not being able to read and getting shot down in the street. Individuals now talking about moving out of Chicago. I bet you the mother of them kids who killing each other wear bonnets and don't wash their clothes. It's a correlation. And that's why the sister had to tap you. It's a couple things too. Let me keep going along with it. Stop me whenever you want, Kev. Monique tapped into, and this is, I'm building on this brotherhood concept. Monique tapped into a sisterhood. Another thing that people are upset about. Monique said, I have the ability to say this because, and in between the lines, what she is saying is there is a sisterhood, there is a gynocracy, and I have elder statesmanship. And because of that, I get to access this sisterhood and this elder statesmanship. And we have a language and we have a code, and she is bringing them into bear, just like what happened with Tamika, just like with the women's march. Anytime they want to invoke this thing, they do, and we are missing out on our ability to form our brotherhood. And that is the underlying theme here. There's a couple things going on here. There's a race to the bottom, and then you have an elder statesman who understands the sisterhood and who's attempting to access that.
Buy Rainbow for this game.
Go ahead, bro.
My bad. My bad.
No, but I get it. But I get it. But here's what I try to get people to understand and to realize is that, this is gonna sound a little intense, but don't let these bitches stop you from doing anything. Like you know, is my ability to be a man is not predicated on what a sister thinks. Like, let me put you like this. Let me put you like this. I was watching a broadcast where this young man was asking this question. Well, no. He was saying why he doesn't care that women are disrespecting men, and it's like I don't know. It seemed like the language that he was using was just to try to trigger folks or whatever. It is like, it sounded like he didn't really believe what he was saying, but at the same time, it's like, why say some bullshit?
Right.
Why say some bullshit if you're not willing to 100% back it up?
Right.
It's just, so basically what you're saying is you don't mind the disrespect.
Mm. I always.
I think these brothers are benefiting from the race to the bottom. That's why Ludacris is not hot. Ludacris is trying to garner attention by agreeing with the lowering of the standard. So everybody with the men jumping on the bonnets and making jokes are trying to benefit. It's the crab in the barrel.
But you know what though? I think that it might have been a joke for Ludacris because it was photoshopped onto the photo. So I might have been a bit harsh, and maybe Ludacris, you got to remember. And I had to reflect and remember this. Ludacris was a comical rapper.
True.
When and his videos were comical. The Saturday video had the chickens having sex in the yard. The Get Back video, he had the extra big arms.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he did not intend or mean for those guys to go that simp route. Maybe he was just kind of jabbing at his friend Monique because you know how celebrities do that shit.
But ain't that the Hannibal Buress thing though? Because that's how we end up with Bill Cosby in prison for something that he didn't do. Because that
Hannibal Buress was a hater. That was the difference. Hannibal Buress was on some hater shit.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing.
Then Bill Cosby like boink his mom or something like that.
I
didn't know that. That's interesting. That's interesting.
That's some crazy shit. But Hannibal Buress was on some hater shit. He was mad. So he got up on stage and he said the slick shit he did.
Oh shit!
I'm just saying that when you bring up that young brother and it's a race to the bottom, and when you look at the definition on Google from business, is when you have this race to the bottom, you're going to have people, and this is what's been happening to our community. You're going to have people benefit off of our lack of standard, and everyone defend. And this is the thing that, and I know people don't like when I defend women and everything, but it's something about black women and how they die most in pregnancy, and how every time somebody comes up and says.
The hell you talking about these suicide for these women for?
Right. The one thing. No, I hear you. But the one thing I find funny is like no one calls out the Vogon, you know what I'm saying, for not being human. And I'm looking at the rest of the women and the rest of the humans and saying like to whisper in their ear, like no one cares that this section of the population is not comporting themselves like humans, you know what I'm saying, and they're allowing, and that's the one thing in the back of my head that I haven't discussed with anybody else, that I'm watching everybody just be okay with.
But the thing is, if they're not doing that, then that means that they're permitting the programming to run and operate them and command them. Because this is the thing when it comes to the programming is always aware. That's the only difference with us and other people in the Matrix. This programming is always in your motherfucking face. It ain't hiding shit. So if you continue to go the route that you know what I'm saying, that the programming wants you to go, that's choice. That ain't brainwashing. We've been calling that shit brainwashing for too fucking long.
Yeah.
That shit is motherfucking choice, because there are examples of higher resonance, higher level. You know what I'm talking about? There's motherfuckers out here doing the work that people can follow.
Yeah, but real quick. I want to read Nick O's comment about Donnie. He said Donnie is spot on. When you look at how non-black, non-white women, i.e. Arab, Indian, Chinese, etc., present themselves beyond the bonnet, within 5 years off the war zone, Syrian women present better.
And their children reflect better. It's a correlate. Apple don't fall far from the tree. It's a connection to all of these things. Yeah, I agree. And then we cannot downplay it. And like Rogus was just saying, like Roger has said before, that if you see something done more than 50% of the time, then there's some intention. So So I agree with you, Rogus. It's not happenstance. There's some intention with this. My point was that I'm amazed at how there's supposed to be this gynocracy and collective of women, but all of the women are watching this section of women being it's okay, because this is what happened with men, and white men being okay with black men not being held up to a standard of fathers, and now white men being not okay with them not being fathers. The same thing I look at, I'm like, y'all looking at these women, letting this group tell these women it's okay not to be a woman, and then pretty soon your standards are going to be, substandard, and then what no standards will be there, and that's what we're moving toward. That's why I call it the race to the bottom. And I think it's odd that no other woman and no other group, Indian or white, are saying and is speaking up, and everybody's okay with Monique getting flambéed. You know what I'm saying? And saying, you know what, black woman, it's kind of true what she's saying. She did not create this standard. Kevin Samuels did not create the beauty standard. This is the race to the bottom. When you ignore a standard that was not created by Monique. Monique didn't create these standards. Kevin Samuels did not create the beauty standard, but everybody is saying that his standard is white. Everybody's saying Monique's standard of presentability is white. That's our favorite scapegoat.
Well, that's the one thing that people will start doing. Now, if you present somebody with some raw truth, red pill shit, you know what I'm talking about, they're gonna usually ask you, well, why do you think that? And it's like, this ain't what I think, this is what I learned. Well, how do you learn that? Watching reality, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? The world teaches shit if you pay attention to it. But they always ask you, well, why do you think this? Or why, you know what I'm saying? It's like, well, this is what I learned. You can learn the shit as well. This ain't, you know what I'm saying? I'm not putting onus on it or nothing like that. I'm just letting you know what I saw.
Is that the perversion? Is that the greatest perversion right there? Monique is the bad guy. For just simply reminding you that this standard exists. Not even saying that, but just reminding you what your reflection is, in case putting a mirror in your. It's perverted.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, listen up real quick. Let me switch gears slightly. Okay.
This is cold blood.
We're gonna go with this theme. When apathy is a good thing.
Meaning that like he should
in situations such as, well, this guy presents.
Yeah. That is cold blooded.
I might be a little apathetic toward that.
I don't know. I wish he would feel some apathy and fall the fuck back. Maybe the depression kind, you know what I'm saying?
This man is suffering from a case of lazy testicles. Well, somebody already made a kid for me, so might as well not do shit. Like
he put all his testicular fortitude in that cape.
Did y'all see the video where he was trying to check Kwame and his wife or fiance at the time? Got in the car and checked him. She got in the car like, you won't lie. She talked to him like he was her son. She sunned him real quick. Like,
you can tell he the type to get sung by a woman. No, I mean, look at how that nigga delivers. You know, there's no way that delivery is resonating with a woman to comply. You know what I mean?
Oh god.
To comply without you know what I'm saying, protest or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That nigga don't never get nothing just passed through whenever he asks his woman.
Oh, it's always a negotiation.
Always, cuz.
Didn't Boy say something to the effect of he waited like 40 years for his woman to come back and choose to be with him or some shit?
Get your motherfucking ass out of here with that bullshit, man.
Like he was the last choice. Like, I can't do nothing else. Fellas, you just gotta wait around.
Like, for real, you waiting for her to have kids with somebody else.
You'll get the girl of your dreams. You're just willing to wait for the dick carousel to stop moving. Someone's gonna look like balled up homework, but hey,
you need to wait till after that hysterectomy. That's when they good. That's when you're trying to.
You mean tell me that? You mean tell me that old Boyce here was apathetic to the cock carousel that this woman took her time and rode from year to year until she decided to say, "Hey, now you're good enough to marry me."
But you got to look at boys. Boys don't look like a motherfucker who look like he got any kind of game whatsoever. So that was a win for him, regardless of what her situation was. That was a win for that nigga. She's probably I ain't seen her, but the fact that he waited for her, she got to be at least what Kevin Samuels calling an adjustable six, right?
No.
She got to be at least. Is she bad?
No. What I'm saying is it's a win for her. Think about our grandmothers. It's a win for her. It's with Kevin and Roger. It's their fame. She don't want to. You get to ride the Cox carousel and you don't die alone. And we can make fun of them, but this is a good brother in the blue pill sense. She's not gonna go for nothing. She's not going for nothing, and she gonna have what our grandmothers had in that retirement.
Man, you get your ass out of here with this shit. You know what I'm talking to.
And she should have died alone. She won.
Nigga said she gonna have what I said.
Yo, that's like a motherfucking compliment and a bird, cuz.
Come on. She should have died alone. Listen. Let me tell you. I read this today. Listen what I read today. Listen what I read today.
What the blue pill is this?
Look. That is. Listen what I read today from a female, pretty girl. She said this pretty girl said, "I want my first marriage to be my best marriage." And then you know what her friend said?
Wait. Her first.
Listen. She said, "I want my first marriage to be a great marriage." And her friend replied, and she wants her third marriage to be her last.
Bitch, what?
Exactly.
So are we presenting a just in case scenario?
Yeah.
She was serious?
No, her friend was just letting everybody know in the comments this bitch is full of shit, that when women say they want this first marriage to be great, they woofing. What they really saying is what we say every day in the Kinocracy. And her third marriage with Boyce is this blue pill cat is going to be her actual third real marriage. And that's what this baby girl got. She ain't going to leave Boyce. She's going to be like our grandmother. She going to get everything that Boyce ever worked for in his life. He going to die early. She going to reap all those benefits. It's a sad
God damn. That's just a gloom and doom scenario all the way around.
But it happened.
But you know what else, though? You know what else? You know, when he was taking pictures with his new bride on his wedding day, it looked like she wanted to find out what the D in Willie D stood for. I wish I had that picture. I looked for that picture so hard, man. I should rip that shit off Facebook.
She get caught fucking Willie D.
There's no way. I really don't see him having a chick imprinted to him. The way that he delivers, that's not a phenomenon that he's ever had to deal with.
Hey, you know what though? Hey, y'all know didn't he smash Yvette Carnell?
No. But he was tricking off on her. This nigga got up like it was a bragging point and was like, I've sent her money many a times and she was living with her parents. Nigga, why was you bragging about that, nigga?
Wow. Why you sending her money?
Wow.
She had died. What was the win here? Yeah, I've had to send her money and I took care of her financially. Nigga, what?
Wow.
I'm trying to understand this. Did she give you strap-on tips, nigga? How to move? I'm trying to understand.
Hey, he the captain of I Want a Cookie Brigade. He want a cookie. That's
Let me get some cookies.
You telling me if I help pay your rent, you'll bring some girls around that like girls?
I'm just gonna happen to walk in the room one day, and hopefully, like.
Yeah. And baby girl saw this opportunity and she closed the deal. She closed the deal on Boyce. Boyce don't even know what happened. She closed it. This was the big. When we always say marriage is a business, this was a business deal. She closed the deal.
I heard Lori Harvey. What's Steve Harvey's wife? I heard she put out a book, How to Catch a Sucker.
Ooh.
Well,
I ain't heard about no prenup. Have y'all heard?
See, here's how the good doc is. He probably read that book to try to avoid some shit like that. Still ended up.
How not to let pussy ruin your life? That nigga took every step to make sure it was going to happen.
Shit, hold up, man. Hold up, man. Because Zero
That's
down
crazy.
here tripping. Hold on 1 second. Shit. Talk about boys is an upstanding good man who cares about black women more than y'all. Like, obviously.
Not.
You pick him up out the gutter. One man's trash is his treasure.
Never that.
Oh God.
That nigga's a saint.
He will hold the truth. He will hold the truth away from them. He will hold the harsh truth away from them.
Horrible example. He's a horrible example.
Yeah.
The Book of Future says, "From the streets she came, to the streets she had returned."
The street shit, right?
Oh, Willie.
To the streets shall she forever run.
She's a runner. She's a track star.
And reside.
Hey, but it
Get her.
said 28 years to come full circle. Did they have a banner up there talking about some, this took 28 years to do this? 28 years in the making.
At the wedding. Oh my God, man!
I'm telling you, he watched from the bushes and she was fucking other niggas.
I sure hope this shit
She equal that nigga.
I'm telling you, that's the nigga. He was over there at the crib. Hey boys, can you come hang this picture for me? I need some help. And then a nigga come pick her up and take her on a date, and he watches she drive off.
Yeah,
I'll be done with this in a second.
See, I told you. I told you.
Give me time to say goodbye.
He the nigga, they go on vacation and she come back to the room with another dude. Oh, can you just sleep on the floor? Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's fine. They in the bed fucking. He on the floor.
This man. Damn. See. We gonna have this man looking at this broadcast tomorrow. How can you have you having a broadcast about apathy and then they just. The discouraging.
We're just fucking with you, boys, man. You have a happy life, man.
I don't give a fuck.
Have a happy life, man.
I don't give a fuck either, man. He's a horrible example for young men. Just like Dwayne Wade. I went in on Dwayne Wade, but the thing I said about Dwayne Wade is like I was talking about, and me and Ruckus are real spiritual. I was talking about this gift of life. I didn't even really go in on him as a man, but to be an example for young men who are feeling apathy, and then you say you're gonna hand over the reins of your life. These 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds feeling apathetic can't do that, Dwayne. It was a horrible example. It was not being a leader, not being a man, because nobody in our community feeling this apathy can do what the hell Dwayne said. They can't do what Boyce is doing. It's
hold up. You got to get off of Dwayne because he was always the type of cat to let his woman run him.
But to be an example of it, to be exemplary, to come out and say it as if this is something that the 16-year-old who lost can do. Kev is talking about the apathy.
Okay, wait a minute, man. You act like bitch-made niggas can't evolve. You know what I'm saying? Like they ain't got higher levels or something.
His turn be the last turn.
You know what I'm saying? That nigga went full bitch-made Charizard, cuz. You know what
Shout out to Hurry Up and Buy. I love Hurry Up and Buy. That's kind of nigga that's the kind of nigga that'll kill him when he get out work tonight.
Man, see, I am unfamiliar with the highest heights of bitchdom. So you have enlightened me. You have enlightened me, my brother, and you are correct. I did not know he got his black belt in that shit. So yeah,
nigga, he's a master in bitch made, dog.
You know, I remember getting into it with a nigga, right? The nigga was talking crazy to me. And it was funny because he was fucking with my ex. And I think the most disrespectful thing I ever said to a nigga was, how does my dick taste? And when I said it to the nigga got extra mad. I couldn't figure out. Like, he was mad. He was rightfully mad, right? But he was madder than what he should have been. And I asked him years later, I said, why was that nigga so super mad? He was like, I stopped sucking dick after that. So she was like, I never sucked his dick. I said, wait, what? She said, yeah, I never gave him head.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
See,
Yeah.
see.
That's a sign.
Sign of something.
so
Sign of
you
nigga.
gonna get with a
Sign of
broad?
nigga and play like a sucker.
I'm telling you, you can get with a broad and had threesomes, all kind of shit. With you, she just doing missionary. Is that what you really want to pay with?
You are your utility man. You
Yeah,
are
bro.
a utility.
Yeah, placeholder.
You better pay the
placeholder.
rent, nigga. Listen, when in my 20s was wild, yeah, I was bumping coochies, we was bringing girls to the bed. It was all that. Oh, yeah, yeah, but I've grown past that. Make sure you pay the rent tomorrow.
You're paying shit. You're paying the motherfucking thing. Well, where's Roger when you need him?
Right. Yeah.
Hey, but Chaos Reign, what's going on, man? What's going on?
Hey, what's good, man?
What is good, man?
I'm not sure how my background sound. I got a lot of things running. As you know, it's hot as hell.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Yes. Man, Don, you ain't shit for that, man. Tell that bitch how my shit tastes. I said, oh shit.
How does my dick taste?
She you know what she gonna say? It is exquisite.
God damn.
I say, good, bitch. That's what I want to hear. Anything less, I'm gonna
like that. But see, that really hurts the ego. Like to find out that she was doing something for this dude because I guess he was some kind of special, and she's not doing it for you, even though you've been paying that cell phone bill and taking her to a favorite restaurant twice a month. Like that's a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah. Could you imagine that shit? You're finding out your girl was the freak of the week, and then you get the bitch and she's a Catholic school girl.
Because she's finally ready to settle down.
You modest? Bitch, what you mean? You said when I met you, you was talking about you was celibate. How long had you been celibate? Like 2 weeks.
So 2 weeks ago,
and this nigga hit it. he hit it at a party.
Celibate there. It's the majority though. We can't talk about it like it's just a couple of them. No, this is the majority of them. This is the horta. You know what I'm saying? That's his hoe is life. You know what I'm saying? This is what it is, man.
Hoe is life. Hoe is life. Holy shit. God, that can't be, man. That can't be, man. That can't be because
it's their title. It's their title.
That's scary, man, because the thing is, you're not going to be able to be polite no more then. You ain't even going to be able to be polite. You can't be polite to hoes.
No. That's not attractive. They want somebody, what they said, they want you to have a tattoo on your face, and you got to be a scammer. Meaning you have to present as a liar and a false person. You have to be good at being able to lie to me. You have to be able to fool me, and you have to have tattoos on your face. You have to present as a mentally ill person to be attractive.
Okay, so then that means that whatever is considered the current upper echelon, there needs to be some more drastic moves being made there.
Yeah, that's back to the classism, back to the class conversation. Because, because the standards have been eroded, and we're at the point when it's a race to the bottom where there will be no standard, and everybody is okay with our community not having standards. It's okay because if we're bitter and we're traumatic, but these people are raising our children. My kid's mother are these people. So when we get done with the laughter, it's like, what? This is some really sick, sad, twisted shit that an older sister can't tell you to comb your fucking head, to wash your ass, and everyone comes back and says an excuse. It's a litany of excuses. I wish my father was in his 30s and could just whoop all of their ass with his garbage man belt, because that's exactly what the hell they need. And the excuse, I can't abide the excuses. Oh, it's hard to travel. Oh, I had alopecia. Oh, it's
be careful with that word alopecia. You know who's floating around this motherfucker?
Alopecia Johnson.
Alopecia Jenkins.
I know her. She got some fire dough, my nigga.
It's lit. It's lit. Hey, y'all better tune in. Get the lights up. Yeah, man. I'm telling you.
I tell you, man, this is as raw as it's gonna get, man. Y'all being brutally honest, man. That bitch ain't gonna like this stream, man. Say what the fuck, yo? These niggas, these no good fucking nasty niggas. Come on, alopecia. I said, bitch, get your hair washed, man. You don't have to worry about that. That's all you have to do, man. Wash it with some distilled water. Use real water. Don't use that fake fucking water. It's gonna fuck your hair up. That's all.
What the fuck is
Nah,
fake
they
water,
want
man?
to
What
rob
you
a
smoking,
Cambodian
chaos?
orphan of her head.
He said, "Don't use that fake water." What the fuck is fake water?
Use distilled water. It's the best water, my dudes.
This nigga wash his bitch's hair in distilled water. I ain't there playing.
Got your fruit and berries juices.
You know what I'm talking about?
Why wash your hair when you can rob a Cambodian child of all 24 inches?
Yeah, you know that's wrong, Donnie. You're gonna just
A Cambodian nun.
and then take that razor blade, them scissors, and then start scoop up the hair. Yeah, and sometimes they might not wash it. They'll sit there, sew it up, and then say put it on their head like a nice little hair hat. And voila.
It's a hair hat.
And it was so much left out. I like when Ricky Smiley came back and said, I left out the fights. Monique just spoke to the bonnets and the clothing and the smell, but I left out the fights that I've seen in the airport from the same people dressed like this. It's symptomatic. It's not just it's who these. Me and Rogish talked about these individuals also driving these late model vehicles with the doors kicked in. Why am I seeing this in California and he's seeing this in Texas? This is a mentally ill person that everyone has to live with in society.
So we gotta ask ourselves: is this something that is of this society, or is it possibly a frequency that they tapping into with it? Could it be driven by popular culture and some social conditioning? You know what I'm saying, inlaid within that, or is it something that's a little bit deeper? Because when you start thinking about it, the fact that shame it seems like it's being eroded, as you said, Donnie, they took away shame. That is the largest thing ever. That shame can be eroded from one's, you know what I'm saying, character.
Because you're talking about humanity now. You're
speaking about humanity now. That's the thing. We understand how it looks and all that old bullshit, but wait a minute. We're talking about humanity. How the fuck is a person's standards eroded and low to such a degree to where actually they feel that they're operating at, you know what I'm saying, homeostasis?
Crickets. I don't know, man. And then what do you do? That's why I like when Kev said last week, it's not about bashing black women. That's why I say this focus has to be turned inward on us. And the other day, I think I was watching Sheep Asleep TV, but everybody is waking up to the energy that's been dispelled on these individuals have been wasted. And that energy, that intelligence that you come with is going to be focused inward on these children and boys who cannot read, and elevating men and creating a better group of men. And then whoever is attracted to us is who we deserve. You know what I'm saying? And this individual, I'm not gonna go there, but I'm just gonna focus on us. This energy needs to be this space, and that's 5.0. This intelligence being focused inward and making us the best that we can be. Because I can't spend time. My father, it's like talking to a crackhead at a point. We're dealing with a crackhead mentality. We ain't gonna. It's like there's no solving or fixing crackhead. You got to deal with your own crackhead stuff. So black men, it's this 5.0 is us fixing us, men elevating men, building this brotherhood, moving us forward. But not trying to get a crackhead off crack. Not no more. Not no more.
It's as Frederick Douglass said, it's best to build strong children than trying to repair, you know what I'm saying, broken people. You know what I'm saying? So but in the aspect of connecting to the young brothers, to do so, that means the sphere is actually going to have to fight that which currently has that attention. You know what I'm saying? And this is the thing: is the battle worth that? Are y'all ready to go at mainstream? Are y'all ready to go at whoever, you know what I'm saying, they deem to be their popular culture saying, idols or whatever, vicarious atonement idols.
Because some of the stuff we rail against, like, is really like the mainstream media norm.
Yeah.
Dwayne Wade and his transformative parenting with his kid. Like, we really,
that was excellent.
You industry too, Mike. You industry too. I'm gonna say that on the other side of the building.
When a nigga say, "Well, just shut the fuck up," sometimes I do be talking too much. That nigga really turned to a bitch. I do be talking too much sometimes.
Yeah, well, that is Mike Tyson.
Nah, fuck that. Sometimes you just gotta take an ass whooping for your pride.
Oh yeah. But I'm just
that nigga would have got his ass whooped. We would have all been like, "Well, Boosie, it was Mike, but at least you stood your ground there, Playboy." Instead, that nigga was like a whole there, nigga. I can't that nigga talking against the shit on his records, nigga. I can't even believe him no more.
That come from having a father, though. How many people had a father? I had that. Well, that ass whooping coming. Your dad don't even give it to you right away. You might get that talking first. You know what I'm saying? And you get the understanding that you're gonna have to accept this ass whooping because you did wrong. And first, you're gonna get an understanding that you did wrong. And I'm still whoop your ass after you. That was the coldest. Like I get
All right, we got Judge Dre and Nameless up here. Nameless protagonists. How y'all fellas doing?
That nigga Nameless is a bully.
What I do? You ain't see shit, family.
No.
What's good to the panel, man?
Yo, shout out for your first video, cuz I watched that joint earlier, like today, and yeah, it's having some good resonance with it. Nice one.
Which one did you see? I got a ton of videos, fam. You gotta look at my playlist.
Your playlist. Your very first one that you did when you spoke about going past the red pill and utilizing emotions and understanding navigation of the inevitability of the black.
Oh yeah, you went back then. Yeah,
yes,
a lot of people don't remember those videos. I wish they go back and take a look at that because a lot of this stuff is kind of really showing itself in the space now.
Yeah.
Good shit. We have a bunch of different content creators with different points of view, and so when they talk about the space is just this and just that, then you're not paying attention to the actual dynamic. So
yeah, we're pretty diverse here. It's just that I've said before, the biggest issue ultimately is people come into the sphere at different times. And generally speaking, suffering and pain and trauma are your initiation rites into the space. I mean, just real talk. If these things never happened to you, if they weren't part of your general reality, none of this information would really cling to you. It would literally roll off your back. And you'll find some common denominators. Most of us came originally from the pro-black sphere. A lot of us did. I can say that for myself. And there's different phases to that. But as we saw the pro-black sphere get more gynocratic, when that word gynocracy came into play, it gave us a sense of being able to articulate what the issue really is. And it really does boil down the culture. And unfortunately, when we have the culture talk, it's been weaponized by white supremacy so much that we're only used to hearing it from certain narratives. And so we don't know how to use it in a way, or generally speaking, there isn't an organized form or forum of speaking about these things that aren't done with the almost exclusive goal of further isolating us into the out group. Rather, we're trying to reform the conversations so that we can form our own in group. But that puts us diametrically opposed to the will of the gynocracy, because part of the issue is that not only do they want to follow their primary directive, which was to be with the man they identified back on the Gold Coast of Africa. You read the Daughters of the Trade for that. But they share a common concern in that should the outgroup men ever gain power, that those in power now will become the new outgroup. In other words, they don't want black men to actually have power and authority. They won't admit that, but we'll get weighted down with the responsibility. But the problem is, without authority, responsibility doesn't mean anything. And you can't
Facts.
shame people into operating in a sense of responsibility if they don't even have the authority to carry it out. So we're stuck in this deadlock. You know, I call it multiplying by zero, because you can take all the effort in the world you want. When you multiply it by that big ass goose egg of no community structure, you know, you're going to keep getting the same result. I don't know how you address it any other way at this point besides literally becoming your own in group in a different environment. And that can look like anything at this point, you know, given fourth industrial, we've got the internet, we've got the manosphere in aggregate.
Say it. Come on, baby. 5.0, 5.0, 5.0. Let's go, baby.
I mean, where else can we go to, you know, besides maybe the barbershop back in the day? You know, to have just this diverse group of people in one point in time saying something without fear of repercussion, economically, legally, or politically, or even physically in some instances. I don't know where.
The digital space is that environmental change. We're terraforming the environment. MGTOW Academy ended up having an impromptu interview. Two things, nameless. He said one thing the MGTOW Academy shared with me, and I'm sorry if I'm not supposed to say that. He said he came to that ideology in 8th grade. And it was so amazing because he's a brown boy. He has an Indian background, and he didn't come to the ideology from trauma. He came to the ideology because of pressure and the sovereignty associated with the. When you look up the definition, it speaks to sovereignty, being able to say no and stand on your square. And what he told me in that interview is, Dennis, I felt pressure from being in an arranged marriage and to be a doctor. And I in the beginning, I looked online for an ideology that would give me the nuts to tell my parents and my community that I did not want to be a doctor. And not only did I not want to be in an arranged marriage, I do not want to be married. And he said he found this ideology in 8th grade. It blew my mind because I always associated these ideologies with the trauma, with women, with sex, and all of these things. And this young man came to this ideology because he needed to find a way to tell his community that he wanted to paint his picture and live the life differently than what they wanted. He wants to be a pilot. He didn't want to be a doctor. He didn't want to be in an arranged marriage or ever get married.
So perfect timing. Let me adjust your algorithm. You remember when Gohan was having problems going Super Saiyan? And Goku said it comes from a need, not a desire.
Right.
That's kind of what's going on with this doctor you're talking about, or potential doctor that didn't want to. Ultimately, he was receiving pressure from the environment. That in and of itself is the trauma we're talking about. It can come in different forms. But he still needed to find another way because it was going against his will and desire. So he bucked against it and was looking for a response. And again, it leads you on the hero's journey. At the end of the day, what we're talking about here is initiation into manhood.
Yes.
There was no true manhood initiation in the modern world at this point, even in other incubated cultures, because again, those men are going under the context of you are a utility for this family to progress the general name forward. And if you don't fulfill your part, you'll be made to. And if you can't do that, you won't gain access to these, to whatever it is that we have to offer as an aggregate. And maybe if you've got other siblings, they will in your stead. So again, you know, we're back to the disposable male dynamic. But, you know, we have it under a different context. Black men are just seen as disposable out the gate, or vitamin D dispensers. So our definitions of manhood are predicated on that. The majority of us embrace that. Case in point, Boyce Watkins. But if that's the only definition you have of manhood, and your only comparison is pretty much zero because every generation resets at zero, I mean, what are you supposed to do? What do you think people are going to literally compare themselves to? Nothing. And, you know, you got these hills that are out here comparing with, you know, pits in the ground. You can't compare that to being a mountain.
Yo, wait a minute. Who that need to mute up? Who got police? Hey, Judge Dre, mute up, man.
That ain't me. Nah, I just unmuted. But I said it. This is the thing I find funny. I said, now, I know that when you mentioned Boyce Watkins, dude, I ain't even gonna say one of the things is this. He lost me a couple of months ago back when the C-19 shit first came out. This dumbass nigga just sit up there and made a statement and then retracted it immediately, saying that, oh, well, when they were talking about giving the checks out to everybody because they told everybody to stay home, and they're saying,
There's a
"What if
lot of
people who owe child
reverberation going
support?"
on.
Is it me
Somebody
or
got
does this nigga sound
Wait,
like he's stuck in the matrix?
Donnie got to mute up.
yeah. Okay, so what happened was he said, "Oh, the people who owe child support they shouldn't get a check." So I'm like, "Well, so wait a minute, you gonna say feed everybody but the men who owe child support?" I said, now see, now what if I say, okay, well then fine, what do we do this? And now when COVID came, we said all overweight black men, if you get COVID, too fucking bad. When he made that statement right there, I wanted to beat the shit out of his ass. I told him,
Okay,
I
but
said,
what do
wait a
you?
minute, when he made that, that's the first statement right there. See, I paid attention to that fool way back in the day, but he made that statement right there. I said, you don't realize something. Oh, if you owe child support, do you realize something? If your ass ain't been working 2 weeks, you owe child support. Everybody owe now. You ain't been working in 6 months. And that's how I
Right.
knew already he was clowning for them. I'm like, dude, do you realize it's a global thing? It ain't not just the people who ain't working, it's global. And this dumb old fool say some shit like that. And then immediately retract. Well, no, maybe not like that. Like, no, nigga, what you said at first is what you meant.
So would you say that he was thinking that apathy was setting in the people, or he had it himself? Would you say?
Nah, I'm just saying that, no, this is back when it first came out, when they're talking about young people check before, like when it first started being mentioned about people helping people because basically ain't nobody working. And that's when he came out and did that. But see, we already know. Boyce used to hang with Cynthia, Paris, all them dumb old fools right there. So we already know what type of producer this man is.
Okay,
You
but
know.
you already know that the gynocracy is animated by intersectional feminism, and all you hear from most of that sphere is intersectional feminist talking points,
Well,
specifically intersectional talking points. And let me just highlight this real quick. And I'm gonna take a step back. Intersectional feminism really made the point and drove it home to say that with the concept of Black empowerment, that you can't have Black liberation without Black female liberation. And if you understand that, the whole rest of the behavioral dynamic should click in place.
That's what Ice Cube ran into, and we saw that in real time.
Exactly.
Ice Cube, his face was cracked. He's like, I wrote a plan for Black people. It includes you, and they specifically told him. And it's gotten to the point, like Roger just said with old boy, how he rose to a black belt and bitched them. They've reached this point in their elevation that they are even saying it like, no. That plan needed to have a call out specifically for Black women. And he asked again, Black, you're not included in Black people. And you know what they said very boldly? No. First time. And it should have been broken down more in this space. How they equivocally said, no, we are not part of what you call Black people. And what I've said, and I get pushback, is that what they've done is they've redefined what the Black family and Black community is to exclude us. And they started that with that first mission statement with the when they came out with BLM.
No, it actually started when they got off on the plantation. And they said that if the Black man gains the same measure of power as anybody else, that we're gonna do to them what was done to us. That's really when that started. And we have to understand that for us, the family unit has always been the mother and the child, period.
Yes.
Period. And a sperm donor.
That's a good correction. You are correct.
I mean, it's important to understand that nuance because that article I linked just now, it really feeds off some older research that was done here. This other article, and I hope please save this article and take a look at this when you guys get time. They were studying the correlation between culture and genetics. So,
can we put it up on the share screen?
Oh, sure, if you want. Put the first one up because I think that really explains it very clearly in that article that's reporting on the research. And the article has links to the more recent research that got pretty much finalized earlier last month. It speaks essentially about the relationship between culture and genetics and how they had the assumption that culture did have a profound effect on you epigenetically. And they could trace this with things like, they're doing it more recently with things like diabetes and obesity and whatnot. But, they've been tracing people who have genetic disposition for mental illness for a very long time using that. Right. And they've been really researching this since World War II, when they studied the effects of people who were suffering from the war and their subsequent children, studying people who had to go through periods of starvation, right, and how that left certain people for a disposition to gain weight. Because again, your body goes into starvation mode. And so it changed their whole genetics up. And they were tracking
emaciation.
Right. They were tracing how, it would sometimes skip generations, and they can start predicting this stuff. Wow. And so they delved deeper into that research. And that article, the first one I linked, it goes into a lot of detail about how your culture has a more direct effect on how you end up essentially evolving, more so than anything else that may be there genetically. And I did a cast with Dr. Nicole Ali a few times on epigenetics to help explain why that is. And to get a better understanding, your genetic code is like writing bars, right? You've got to have good writing skills to make a good verse. Right. That's your genetics, right? But your epigenetics is the way you spit it. You can take an ill verse, and if you give it to somebody that can't rap for nothing, it's gonna come out like some bullshit.
Right.
So, yeah, go ahead.
So just to piggyback on this, I saw a show called White Positive, and I brought this to the space before. So if people can't get what you're saying, this is being talked about in both sectors. These two white men, they were saying, in order to fix what we are as white people, we need to not get bombs, not learn martial arts. But you know what he said? We need to create our own dances and create our own music again.
Yeah, to influence the culture.
Because this is why you got Eminems and people singing and rapping better than it. What you're saying is so important that they understand that they have lost themselves because
it'll never happen again. You only get that window once.
Now, I'm not saying this, but I'm just saying they recognize what Nameless is saying also, that they have lost themselves because the cultural battle has been lost. And if they want to be what they once was as this imperialistic white person, we got to get back to creating our own culture. The conversation blew my mind because I was not aware of what Nameless is bringing to bear right now. I'm thinking they're going to talk about killing people and doing this. They tell other white men to create dances. And I'm like, what? You want to tell them? They saying you need to create your own dances again, create your own music, and stop dancing, walking, and talking like that group. That's exactly what Nameless is saying, so that we stop looking and acting like them.
Well, it goes even deeper than that, because you have to look at the statement I made. And I think most of you guys probably saw that video I did about how we got here on my channel. And I spoke about, where a lot of these behavioral dynamics really came from. And recently that got augmented with a lot of the work that BGS has done and highlighting that same research that was done in books like American Slave Coast and Slave's Capital and a couple others, Empire of Cotton, that really go into detail about the baby farming and understand that there's no difference between that and artificial selection. What I'm saying is this is legitimate domestication. If you look at what separates the wolf from any dog you guys may own or had owned in the past.
Oh, shit.
There is no difference genetically, but there are differences epigenetically. In other words, it's the same verse, just a different person spitting it, and it's on a different instrumental.
Depending on the culture that it was raised in.
You understand how this works now.
Wow. So okay, so with that,
hold on, that hurt. Let that sit out there for a minute, man, because he just called us puppies.
Yeah, I mean, there we go. That's the difference between someone getting civilized and domesticated.
Ooh,
shit.
Ooh. Okay.
That's the difference. And it's so profound because on one end, I honestly think that this is grounds for reparation for real. Because you can trace this genetically at that point. Then you can probably identify genetic markers. You can run it through a sequence and people can probably find these markers. Yep, there it go. You got the domestication marker.
But will the nation have the honor that it takes to own up to that type of slights
Fuck
against
the
their humanity.
honor. I'm just saying it may be a thing that happens when we're long and gone. I'm just saying this is the kind of conversation I think we need to be having with regards to, looking at how do we address the solution. Right. My goal is to understand, just like in The Art of War says, when you understand yourself and you understand your opponent in 100 battles, you don't have to fear losing.
Right.
So if we don't take the time to understand what was actually done, not the narrative, but what was actually done, or like the other axiom I like, if we don't take a look at not where we fell, but where we slipped, we're just asking to repeat the same thing over and over again. And I'm not about trying to sit here and sound like I'm complaining. Like this is a status report. No. I'm saying that for anybody on the playback and listening, and just in general, because people come up here with the responses and the anecdotes and it's all about looking at what actually happened so that you can make appropriate action to come to a solution. And there's a lot of individual work we got to do on the one-on-one. And a lot of us have kind of gotten by like in spite of all of this shit, which really speaks to how strong you are as an individual. But just understand, most people don't have to live this way. They're about to, but they never had to.
Hey, say that. They're about to.
Oh, that's good then. They're about to. Oh, yeah.
You will not replace us. You will not replace us. They know it's coming. They know it's coming. I said before in this space, I seen a talk where a white man stood up and said to another black man, he said, I relate to you because what happens, and this is happening in my community, what happens when the white women do what the black women do, but my son has more access to guns and money. It's no different with the black child. What Nameless is saying, it's no different. So when you apply that same thing in my community, what's going to happen? What are these kids going to do? And that's
here's the other part to that, because then you got to add in, transhumanism and the 4 pillars of that. And I don't mean on some robots finna take over everything. No, I mean, look at it like this. You've got culture, right? And I view culture, honestly, as a technology. I also put language in that same category. I think language, especially written script, is what separated human beings from primates. Like, I think that was the primary thing that set us apart on a completely different trajectory than we probably would have went. And as a result, you've got 2 phenomenon that occurred at the same time. You've got the creation of culture and everything that falls under that umbrella. Then you've got civilization, and they're kind of like fraternal twins. For a long time, they used to have a lot of similarities. They used to kind of operate at the same time. But as we got closer and closer to the modern era, it was kind of like the difference between the gunshot and the sound that it makes. Like the faster the shot goes, the more of a delay there is from the sound. The delay in the sound is actually the culture, but the shot is the civilization. So what can happen is you can have culture outpace, or rather be outpaced by the civilization. And some of the first instances of this happening is colonization.
Right.
You can have 2 similar cultures, but because one is on a completely different scale of civilization, what's the end result?
The power dynamics are shifted to
one gets conquered, right?
Balance. Yes.
One gets conquered. And then even once that occurs, there's dramatic shifts that have to occur in the culture to adapt to the new civilization.
Right.
We saw a microcosm of that was more balanced with the past industrial revolution. So we're talking about the 1800s going into the early 1900s. It was when everybody was getting cars. You were able to, move things rapidly. You had telecommunications. Telecommunications and electricity were probably the 2 biggest things, because they made it to where being an agricultural family dynamic, in other words, an agricultural culture, was an option.
The norm. Right.
It became an option. Right. And then it became a commodity. And from there, it just increased rapidly. And that's where things began to shift. And now we're at a state where the technology, and we saw this aspect with social media, where the technology is about to bring the civilization at a pace that's so far ahead of the culture that culturally speaking, we're going to be left back in the Stone Age. Because what they can do now, I don't know what the difference is between that and magic. Like if I describe to you what nanotechnology is about to do,
we are
it's
Jetson.
sorcery.
We are in Jetson age right now, cuz
See, that-
and people just looking for the flying cars, and it's like, all right, that's what you need to see for the shit to be submitted. All right, whatever.
But that's where I get to my America's a new third world country concept with this fourth industrial revolution, because we're never going
The
to
technical
This
age.
ain't got
The
shit to
tech
do with
age.
America. This ain't
Well,
got shit to do with America. This is the world,
It's
cuz
the
the world,
world, man.
man.
but I'm just saying the things that we're talking about we won't see here, and they're already being seen in other places.
Well, no. Don't look at it like that. Understand this is going to roll out at the same time. What you need to be focused on, family, is the cultural lag. Because what this means, if you're not ahead of the curve, you're responding. And we got fighters up here. Do you want to be the one that has the initiative, making the opponent respond to you? Or do you want to be the one that's a quarter second behind, unable to predict and having to respond and rely on pure reflex?
No,
I'm
no.
about
So
domination.
this is the conversation I think we've led to, because this is what we've been talking about. You brought the brotherhood, and then a lot of people have been talking. I've been driving home the brotherhood, and a lot of people have been asking about the networking and what God has shown me that is happening simultaneously. But you are absolutely right, because I've been getting a lot of pushback on the fact that we have not been taking advantage of this space. And I think I think it was called Alpha Male or something, but there's another brother in here with a supplement. But I understand what you're saying, and we definitely are responding in that sense to this space in the monetary sense. We're not being proactive, and as I talk to people about people being upset about Kevin Samuels, I'm saying this business model that he created, we need to be mimicking, and from this space, we need to be rising somebody up, like the mafia talked about. How we need to be running our own candidate. We need our own candidate, benefiting monetarily and getting out our own message, and not being caught up on the politics of it. We're not playing the political game, and we're not benefiting. And it hit me the other day. We all should have products, and I'm working feverishly on having a product every time I go live, and us not accepting the accusations and people putting us down for asking for cash apps and having products. And what I said the other day is we don't have a male version of Tasha K. So when you say responding, nameless, that's what I'm hearing, because I feel like we're responding in that sense and not understanding our power in this manosphere, and everybody else actually having products and making money, and we fighting over the message. We bogged down in the shit that should be like autopilot. You know what I'm saying?
Here's why.
But wait a minute, perfect. It sounds as if you're speaking in an aspect of something being solutional to the current condition and predicament. But I gotta ask you, nameless, how much of a deterioration must this play itself out before one is able to initiate, you know what I'm saying, an adequate amount of catalyst for the desired change?
You know what? I'll be honest with you. If I knew the answer to that, I'd be in the CIA right now, running my own small country, ruling the world so it can leave me the fuck alone.
I hear you, cuz. I hear you.
I'll just keep it a buck with you, bro.
Hey, Robish, niggas put on bonnets, blood. Niggas put on bonnets, cuz. You know, so that's the answer for you. Like, what how long we gotta go? Niggas put the bonnet on, my nigga. It's like this was your opportunity, you know what I'm saying? This little girl to get his haircut. You gave her the money to get the haircut, brought him to the barbershop. Y'all see the video where she tried to kill him for just getting the boy's haircut? Who are you to cut my son?
Yeah,
You didn't even get the boy haircut. And you know what you do? You put a bonnet on. So I don't want to see no videos next week of you whining about that little boy not being able to get his haircut because your punk ass put a bonnet on, thought it was funny.
Oh, they thought they was doing the right thing.
God
by representing for the culture and for seeing one up close. I'm gonna put this bonnet on and stand up for my sisters because they were in possession of actual bonnets.
Man, that's that self buck breaking. I can't.
Wouldn't have been my son. I'll just say this. I'll just say this last thing. You know, ultimately, it boils down to people generally don't go far enough until they've truly suffered. And when they've truly suffered and they've gone through their initiation of having to sit down and experience the abyss, they can claw out of it, then yeah, they're ready. And generally speaking, the only response from that point forward is absolute rigid self-discipline in all areas of human activity from that moment forward. And to be quite honest with you, you have to be at a point where the pain of being in your current condition is less than the pain, or rather greater than the pain it takes for you to apply that discipline. And that's on all levels, because until it reaches that point, you know, people have a tendency to want to have this knowledge. They want to have these advantages. They want to change without changing. It doesn't happen that way. You have to give death to your old form. That's how that works.
You know what you described?
You know what you call something that's still alive in its dead form?
A zombie.
And that's exactly what you got running around right now.
Yeah.
So I mean,
I heard that tooth. And it's some very Negro aspect of thinking. Now, I was thinking, is that in every culture? Because I hear that tooth, you know, you need to go to the dentist, but Negroes will not go to the dentist till that tooth causes them so much pain that is worth. That's what you just described, is that tooth. And I got to be in so much pain that what the dentist is going to do to me is less painful. That, God damn, wow, that's what we doing to ourselves.
Yep. I mean, it's human nature. If we're honest about it all, we're still human beings at the end of the day. I mean, ultimately, all of this is happening because our needs aren't being met. Rogish, did you see the video I did on the Library of Babel?
The Library of Babel was. I think I did. When did you do that one?
It was a while ago. It was after I did the ones where I was talking about the hikikomori and the yukiona and all of them. The video immediately after that. Go peep that again when you get time, because this is the concept I'm talking about in that video. You know, ultimately, culture's job is to make sure that people's needs are being met. And in modern society in general, but our community in particular, because it was never really met out the gate, you know, we've got these rituals of just, you know, abuse and sacrifice, really, where most of our needs really aren't being met. And the basis of trauma and the basis of human suffering is predicated on the fact that your needs aren't being met. Right. Every psychological disorder, you can damn near draw a direct line directly to that. And so if this is constantly happening and everybody around you is going through the same thing, you then can tap into the neurological collective consciousness that says, okay, well, I see everybody is also not getting their needs met, so this is normal. This is quote unquote life. There's nothing normal about that. It's just been normalized. And our neurology is designed to still function that way. And so what can happen is certain personalities or certain environments may make it to where certain needs are able to get met easier, especially if you belong to a group that can have dominance over a particular thing, whether it be, you know, your personal image, or you've got immediate resources, so your immediate needs are met, and then you can focus on other things and get more sophisticated. And what that creates is a natural hierarchy, which is why I really emphasize social dominance order, getting into in-group, out-group. But what do you do when you're, for example, again, a Black man, and the only measure of acceptance you have is this very narrow, you know, vitamin D dispenser or high-earning resource? If you don't fit in either one of those categories, you meet the negativity or the negative dynamic of every aspect of human life. But if you've been told that's normal because everywhere you look and see other people are in that same position, two things happens. One, your conditioning, your cultural conditioning, because we have two sides of it. From the Black end of it all, you know, it's recognizing that's its place. You want to appease essentially your mother, which is your initiation into the culture, followed by the next mother that you have, which is your school teacher, that initiates you into American culture, which actually holds what you came from in contempt. And so now you've got like a schism in your mind.
That's fucking crazy.
You're in conflict.
Literally, you're in a it's schizophrenia, really.
Yeah,
you can call it a dual consciousness. And this is where a lot of this crazy behavior comes from. Like, you can notice on one end, people can say they're pro-black and then get Tourette's like they're having a white supremacist outbreak talking about killing people.
Nameless. Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
Oh yeah, they go on that too. Who hurt you? God damn.
I saw a dude that was on a chick's panel say that same thing. Who hurt you? That sounds like a fucking bitch. I said, dude, that's a female talking point.
He just described somebody walking on water. Ice Cube described it. Ice-T said it's like jumping rope on a razor blade. He was able to say bar. Nameless just said bars. He was able to put together that bar because that was his existence. That's what he experienced.
But he ain't the only one though, family. And that's what I'm saying. Like this is normalized for us.
That's why he went platinum, because I related to it. That's why I remembered it. Because my life, what you described, was jumping rope on the razor blade, and it became normalized, and it changed. It changed people, and I seen it. The people underneath me, and I kind of felt bad. You know what I'm saying? Because I was that nightmare walking psychopath talking, but then that shit had seeds.
Right. But you also got to take into consideration the beginning of it. Like I'm second generation. You know what I'm talking about? When I was taught Crip wasn't no gang. Crip was protecting the community. That's what I was taught. We're going to protect the community. Those are the words that I was given. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm fucking with this. All this blue shit, all right, we can rock with that, but let's get more to this enriching the community thing. I'm from North Tulsa. All I wanted to do was to see my people motherfucking enriched. You know what I'm talking about? But then once crack came in, then, you know what I'm saying, loyalty swayed. And then you start getting, you know what I'm saying, Crip set on Crip set. And it's like, oh, it's like, yeah, because that was the start of that. Ain't nobody ever think about how the
community
fuck
resistance in progress.
You know what I'm talking about? Cuz nigga, that shit was universal. But then once that money started coming in, then that's when the whole territory thing started.
Well, scarcity, right? We're talking about scarcity at the end of the day.
Exactly.
People's needs weren't getting met.
Exactly.
People's needs not getting met. So I keep saying that is the point of origin at the end of the day. When people's needs aren't getting met, you know, you get the axiom we've all used to hearing. I got to get mine, so I'm gonna take yours. There it is. At the end of the day, culture was supposed to be designed to help insulate you from that. But we come from a culture where our needs weren't met out the gate. I mean, you look at that plantation, and I mean the ones that were here in the United States, and all it is nothing more than a ritual of your needs not getting met in violation after violation after violation. And remember the articles I just posted a little bit ago about how your culture literally changes your DNA. And they already know that most of these epigenetic changes, they happen from the egg. Why? A woman is born with the amount of eggs.
Not to stop you, Nameless, not to stop you,
them.
but in the aspect of a culture changing your DNA, then what is that to say to someone who exists within the social framework of a culture that they actually reject?
I mean, you can terraform, but that also has its consequences as well. You know, a good thing to study for that to kind of really get an understanding of how this socially plays out. You can almost boil it down to an algorithm. The Mouse Utopia experiments. That's precisely what's happening right now. If you get time, if you have Rogish, if you haven't seen the Mouse Utopia experiments yet, you are going to lose your mind.
I've seen it.
Yeah. Go revisit some of that and take a look at the different groups that formed out of that. And, you know, you'll find that there are particular coping mechanisms. They'll start to emerge in a pattern, and you can take a look at what's going on in the general society, and you'll really start finding, you know, groups of people behaving exactly like that. You know, even if you look at MGTOW, you know, it's accounted for. This is all in the algorithm. There's nothing new about what's happening now. It's just it's happening with human beings. And we can change our environment much more rapidly, and we do have more agency over that than most people. But there's another book of literature I'm getting through right now. It's very dense, and it's taken me a while, called The Lucifer Project. And it was done by the same doctor that did that the Stanford prison experiment.
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah, he's going through his work, and you know, it's interesting. There's two phases to this. The first phase, and I'll give you as quick as a synopsis as I can. he posited a hypothesis that got really popular in the court system, where there was a situation where these 3 Army Rangers robbed the bank, and they had the whole thing set up. I mean, some classic Joker stuff you done seen in
Right.
Gotham City. You know, they show up, they pull out, rob the bank, roll out. Obviously, they get caught, and then they're in court, and you know the psychologist gets called in, and
No fatalities.
I don't think anyone died.
Okay.
But what ended up happening is out of the 3, they had a commanding officer, and it was the commanding officer that actually led it. And what he was making his hypothesis off of, predicated on what he learned from the Stanford study, was that because the dude was in a position of power, the other 2 already were predisposed to view the action of robbing the bank as a lawful order.
Okay.
All because of the way human beings are predispositioned to follow authority. He used that as a defense, and those 2 got off.
Wow.
So right. So this was huge. So he revisits this later, and he kind of reneges on that statement, but he reneges on it because he thinks something deeper is going on. As long as there is a ritualized presentation of authority and an individual is initiated into it, human beings are far more likely to do things that they generally wouldn't do because they get consensualized into acceptable behavior. And more of them, well, I mean, you can say that with damn near everything.
It's not necessarily gynocracy, because I remember, you know what I'm saying, hearing some experiments done in the past to where there was a false setup of someone delivering
shock experiments.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I was going to go to that next. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's true, cuz.
Yeah. So, you know, he drew back from other research that was being done in the 60s when they were studying mind control and during the Cold War era. And yeah, they got to the Nazi shock experiments and all of that to try to study the Holocaust and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, there's a whole dynamic and a lot of things that are predisposed to all of that. And when you look at the effects of culture once again, and I'm tying this back into the Mouse Utopia experiments, you know, you can resist it and you do have agency over it. But let's be real. We've got a generation that's coming up now where they're going to learn how to use an iPhone before they know how to actually walk, let alone speak verbal language. If you don't think that those images have a stronger imprint into the brain and more neurology is actually engaged in the image and the sound rather than the actual words themselves,
that's pure Orwellian right there. And there's no way that you can actually so-called quote unquote correct that. There's no
what I'm saying?
There's no correction at that fucking level.
And they talk about it at the end of the article I gave you. Let me read this last paragraph here. I think it really drives the point home. And there's another word I'm going to highlight in the chat. I want you guys to look up because this is how I want you to start looking at these social issues. And why I get really irritated when people want to bring their personal anecdotes into these conversations. The word is super organism. Okay. The last paragraph here goes, okay, well, I'll read the few lines before it. With groups primarily driving culture and culture now fueling human evolution more than genetics, Waring and Wood, those are the 2 individuals that study, found that evolution itself has become more group-oriented. He quotes, in the very long term, we suggest that humans are evolving from individual genetic organisms to cultural groups which function as superorganisms similar to ant colonies and beehives. Waring says the society as an organism metaphor is not so metaphorical at all. This insight can help society to better understand how individuals can fit into a well-organized and mutually beneficial system. Take the coronavirus pandemic, for example. An effective national epidemic response or epidemic response program is truly a national immune system, and we can therefore learn directly from how immune systems work to improve our COVID response. In other words, the way human beings are being organized now, they're being organized in these hive dynamics. And when you look at the way, I guess, transhumanism in general and some of its 4 pillars, and one of them is cognitive influence. This is literally going to be what human beings are in the future: social groups and social terraforming. People are going to be far more so in their heads, and all you have to do is look at the internet, social media in particular. Cannabis said a line a while ago in 2010 that really stuck out to me. He said, "The internet is an early telepathic building set. My lyrics are international nuclear missile threats."
Can I bust? Salute.
I mean, I had no argument to that. I mean, it's exactly what we see going on now. And when you look at it in aggregate, these servers form the same kind of patches that your neurons make in your brain. I mean, this is nothing more than correspondence. Like this gets right into metaphysics the more you start looking at this stuff, fam.
Yeah.
That's why I said, like, I don't know what the difference between this and magic anymore is. And when you look at the integrity of the culture, we're moving from what people think is scientific to something that's really nothing more than cultism at the end of the day. Your new god is finna be this internet.
Cultism being able to direct and influence the minutism of the cell.
Nanomachines. They're already working on that.
Fucking shit.
I mean, this is where we're at right now, fam. And we over here talking about this goofy shit. Like,
they also weird science shit.
But name is goofy. It's goofy, but it's real. You know what? I said it. I'm called it.
But Big D, before
WAP culture.
Hey, Big D.
Yeah, go
ahead. Look, let me read Roger's super chat. It's from the Roger Report Live. Check him out Monday through Friday mornings on his channel. It says, "Long live the habitual line steppers. Much respect to everyone on the panel. OS. This is a grouping of brilliant minds.
Long live. Long motherfucking live."
All right.
Nameless, I hate you, cuz. God damn, dog. You know what I'm saying? No, real talk. I was like, man, nigga, I'll be trying to keep this shit. But god damn, you know what I'm saying? You take it negro.
I mean,
what the fuck we supposed to do with this pillism, man? You know what I'm saying? And we come back to the apathy. Apathy, the silent killer. You know what I'm saying? Can y'all think about apathy actually killing a silent killer? Fuck!
You know my response to that? I think you saw this on my IG too, Rogish.
Yeah.
Did you see that little short snippet I did about Kaizen?
Did you have a Boken at the time?
Nah, it's yeah. He's standing there. I the little avatar character I used was standing there with a sword in his hand.
Yeah.
And he was facing off with somebody. I mean, that's my perspective on the whole thing.
Yeah.
Incremental improvement day by day. Absolute unapologetic self-discipline.
You just said it though. You just said it. Absolute unapologetic self-discipline. One has to be motivated into having that type of self-discipline, cuz I ain't saying you motherfucking 36 chamber, you at least 35, nigga. You know what I'm saying? So you
I mean, that's how I see it. You saw the second entry I did with the Nameless Swordsman.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That whole story is really dealing with that. I mean, in the beginning, the character was depressed. He was frustrated. He was getting over an injury. And he's just self-doubt, like, why the fuck am I, excuse the cursing, you know, why am I even doing this? You know, he was thinking about taking his own life for a second. Until again, he realized the pain of not doing something was far greater than the pain it would take to go through all of that and to keep training. That has to be an internal locus of direction. And you can't give that to nobody.
So now we get back to the elitism, to blatantly essential elitism.
I mean, we're gonna see stratification. That's natural. The stratification is already here. It's just they haven't announced it yet. It's kind of like, you know, you high off the adrenaline and everything done stop, and you done mess around and got a fracture. Your whole shit finna get fucked up.
Yeah.
When that adrenaline disappeared and that pain set in, all that jogging you doing now.
I remember your process.
Stop immediately.
I'll be fucking with you driving around.
Right.
Going through your nuts.
Right. You better put the brakes on that.
And it might be too late. And it might be too late when you
for
were
a lot of people.
And when you were explaining people responding, that's how I was thinking about like crypto and everything. I'm like, man, this is like really hitting home because it's like we are responding in a lot of ways. it might be too late.
Not no might. I mean, come on. Look, this is my thing, right? A lot of people, not none of the issue, D. You know what I'm saying? It's like a lot of people operate in the aspect of it might be too late. It's like, look, no. If something is changing at this degree, is the old world is finna die.
Yeah, it's dead.
The old world is finna die. Y'all gotta prepare yourself for the NWO. This is the true NWO that's happening.
You know what's happening?
And it's not led by the Illuminati.
folks about to be coming in here on Earth with gills. I'm not saying this literally, I'm saying this figuratively.
Yeah.
What that means for most of us who've had to breathe air on land,
new shot.
If we want to survive in the abyss that's on the way, you need to learn how to hold your breath like a whale does. And if you're not doing the training now, when the water is up to your waist, when it's over your head, it's too late.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what we have to do now. Have to learn how to hybridize, handle deep, crushing pressure, and learn how to hold our breath. And the key to it is breathing.
You still on pebble grabbing? You still on pebble grabbing? You still on
good
pebble?
luck, like the majority of mankind for the rock with that shit.
Man.
Oh shit! All right, so damn, you can't.
You want me to wash my ass before I go to the airport? What you want me to wash my ass and comb my hair before I go to the airport? I ain't gonna do it. I ain't gonna be able to do it.
Hey, but look at the Mouse Utopia experiments. You had those groups of individuals that no longer groomed themselves. They didn't bathe themselves, and it was just nasty and trifling. I mean, people need to go back and take a look at that behavioral sync stuff, family. I mean, it's an instruction manual on what's going on now. It was very prophetic. I don't even want to call it prophetic now because they repeated that experiment 28 times in a freaking row and got the same results every time. And when he was working on trying to figure out ways of curbing it and keeping it from happening, the money stopped coming in.
So, Nameless, what does that make you think humanity really truly is?
I mean, you seen Wally, right? I'm just saying.
Here you go.
I can't do it. It's not gonna be me, man. That audacity.
Yes, sir.
I got way too much audacity. I can't. Hey, but let people do what they do. I mean, that's on them. They got the free will to make that happen. So just stay the hell out of my way.
Make sure your free will isn't an imposition.
Right. Right. Get ready for that goofiness.
Oh yeah. People be free all over the place. Don't even know they're inside of a prison. Prison of the mind. Like, why do we accept such?
Again, like I said in the story, all they're interested in is renegotiations and their own enslavement.
I want y'all to think about that.
Yeah, it makes me think this bitch can't fall fast enough now. You know what I'm talking about? That's what it makes me think.
I ain't trying to make nobody no nihilist, fam.
Race to the bottom.
I did that, cuz. You hear the way I laugh, nigga. That ain't just because I think shit is funny.
That's that Joker laugh. I understand.
That's because the whole thing, the order is wrong. You know what I'm saying? I ain't against order. I'm against this one. You feel me?
Nah, I'm with you. Again, I'm a Scorpio family. We all about breaking shit down so it can be built back up again. I mean, it's part of the cycle.
Yeah, I just want shit to be better. I don't want shit to be off. I just want it to be better and willing to do what the fuck ever it takes for it to get there.
Yeah.
Including, you know what I'm saying, perhaps maybe matching wits with my, you know what I'm saying, historical enemy. Shit. Ain't nothing wrong with genocide. Fuck it. Everybody else seem to give them motherfuckers a pass for it.
He hit black pill. Hello.
I mean, what the fuck? They get the passes to do whatever the fuck they want to do. You know what I'm saying? Utilizing death as a tool. All right. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Let me get myself in the mind frame of, you know what I'm saying, perhaps getting ready to, you know what I'm saying, go full Magneto with it.
Yeah, but before you do any of that, there's going to have to be a whole lot of steps you're going to have to take first.
Fire doesn't dictate that, sir.
Maybe not. Maybe not. But just understand, fam. It's just like it said before. The general that makes more calculations wins.
Yeah.
And the general that makes few calculations wins much less. How much so the general that doesn't make any calculations at all? And then the next thing I'm gonna say, I'm gonna quote Clausewitz on this one, and he fucked me up with this. Wrote this in 1864. He said the object of war is not to kill your opponent, but to render them disarmed so that they can no longer oppose your will and your political ideology.
That's us. That's the community. That's why that's my joke about them trying to kill us with the vaccine. Like, why would they spend that much time and money when they've already accomplished what you just said?
Because things are changing at a rapid pace that they're not the only ones there that can influence and disarm. I mean, what is going to happen? Let's just figuratively say overnight, the dollar is no longer the reserve currency. What happens to the political influence of the United States taking a snapshot right now? And I'll even spread that out and share it with the Western world in general. What happens to it in a situation where they're in a population and a demographic crisis?
There's going to be chaos, and then the order must be restored.
And that's happening.
And see that you got to understand, in the world you live in today, there's reward and punishment. And if you feel you're going to lose this control, you always got to think ahead of time. What type of punishment you can inflict now on population people that you can no longer control? Because now you are collapsing. Always keep that in mind.
I'm just saying, family, it's a lot more moves that are going on, fam. I mean, this stuff has been, when I sat down back in the day and listened to Rules and Dogma from God, what's his name? I just had his name too. The damn 33rd degree Mason that was a lawyer and fought for the Albert Pike. God damn.
Okay.
You gave the answer. You gave the answer.
Yeah, Rules and Dogma.
You gave the answer of what's going to happen.
Fam, listen to some of those, some people even talking about the lectures and some of that content in that book. When you understand the layers upon layers that these folks have, this stuff goes all the way back to the Magna Carta. Culture is something that is so important, family. The only solution I have really come to is a two-part solution. One, Pan-Africanism as a foundation, and two, Black people and Black men in particular need to start seeing themselves as universal human beings. And I can't underline this word human being enough. I can't. Because if we can posture ourselves as the world's moral compass, we will be in the best position to deal with what's coming in this fourth industrial wave.
So, Naaman, since you mentioned about Pan-Africanism, why do you think Negroes are always, when you hear it, they always run away from Pan-Africanism, from your perspective?
You said there's a lot of background. Say that one more time.
I said you mentioned Pan-Africanism, which I do agree. But why do you think most of our people, men in general, run away from Pan-Africanism?
Too much work involved.
Because at the end of the day, our culture is animated by the gynocracy. And what we're dealing with is a group of men who are postured to be egalitarianists, not an imperial leadership. That's the issue. And those of us who are, it's why I made that statement that kind of threw the panel in chaos everywhere I say this. But I make the statement that there are no alpha or beta males in the Black community. There are only sigma and omega males because there's no structure. So because we don't have a structure that builds and asserts power and dominance, because we don't have a culture that uses that as a priority, because our culture doesn't have a warrior deity that looks like a Black man. We have one that looks like a Black woman, and we have one that looks like a white dude. And as a result, these are the two things that determine justice.
Chaos Rain, mute up, man. You got some feedback.
And you can't have a warrior culture without a definition of justice that goes right along with it, because it is from your deity that you get the initial starting point for your sovereignty.
Damn.
It's through your deity that you gain the right to rule through proxy. And it's your deity in the Black community that you have that does not look like you, period. You have no warrior culture that's intrinsic to you.
But do you know how much deeper that propels it defaultly into Black pill?
I mean, I know, but I was trying to answer this question. I didn't
Yeah, because I mean, when you go that route, it's like, oh shit, we actually gotta affect the image of the deity. Holy shit! Which I ain't got nothing against, you know what I'm saying? But people might not want to take my perspective with it. You know, Genghis Khan, hashtag Genghis Khan. All right. Whatever.
Well, Nameless Protagonist gave me, in particular, a lot to digest, to the point where I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it again. You know, when you know, and that goes for any of y'all. Y'all want to go back and watch any of these live broadcasts again? Then I leave them up. I do understand that other content creators might take their live broadcast down for whatever special reason. But listen up, fellas. It's hour number 3. So it's time to submit our final statements. Then I'll say what I got to say, and I'll see y'all next week. And I might bring y'all a surprise this week. Just look out for this channel. Just gonna do some edits and probably do a surprise live. But shout out to the people in the chat. Rael, I see you down there. So go ahead with final statements. Whoever wants to go first.
All right, let me do mine. Respect. Long live the habitual line steppers.
Long
as
live.
always. Thank you for the hospitality, Cav. You know what I'm saying? As far as it goes with Apathy, the silent killer. Oh man, all the jewels that Nameless just dropped. I can't even focus on Apathy, the silent killer, because it's like, to speak upon Apathy would mean that if you are speaking upon it and you're noting it, you either want it to be, adjusted, or we're just speaking on it just, just for the good of using the mouth wind or whatever. You know what I mean? But what he presented to you, what Nameless just presented to you, is that it's going to have to be absolute discipline in your lifestyle for you to continue making it in the future. You know what I'm saying? Because things it's already kind of, jacked up, and y'all can see that. But for people like me, it's like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I don't know how to keep away the EBK. But when people start talking like that, and I saw, Cass in the chat, it was like, yo, he shouldn't be laughing or whatever. I'm gonna let y'all know, all my laughing, it ain't from humor. Okay, a lot of this shit is from pain. A lot of this shit from just feeling crazy, from really ready to spill, the red rum. It's how I've been since I was, like 2nd grade and shit. It only makes sense to punish things by death. Okay, a lot of people might say psychotic or whatever. What's the word? Oh, only a psycho will kill a little animal when he's young or whatever. Get the fuck out of here. Everybody kills something. That grasshopper counts. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, I really hope that everyone get your pen and pad and you play this back and you really listen to how Nameless dropped that joint. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he might not be chamber 36 because they say ain't no such thing as perfection, but nigga at least 35. You know what I'm saying? And it's always best to learn when you can. You know what I'm saying? So yo, you know what I'm saying? Respect for the jewels. As always, y'all take care of yourself. Y'all be safe and don't get that motherfucking vaccine. Holla.
Os.
Roger's the Bill Monger. Always a welcome addition to the panels whenever I have them. Thanks for coming by. Whoever wants to go next.
I'll go ahead because I don't got too much to say. Just glad I got to come up and chop it up with you guys. I was kind of chilling in the shadows like I normally do, but I decided to come up and chop it up a bit on the topic, but we sort of digressed a little. But if you guys can make use of any of that information, please take a look at it, especially those 2 articles I dropped, because I'm all for us being able to approach this from both a logical and an empathetic perspective, because I really do believe you need both. We need to have a superposition of the two, not just one overwhelming the other. If you have emotion and intellect for a reason. It's just the way you apply the two. They have their purpose. So take a look at the information and really reflect on yourself. Honestly, I see this as an opportunity. because it's not, if your hands are already full with nonsense, you can't pick up anything new. And we're in a unique position right now, in particular as Black men, where you're from a bloodline that survived the Middle Passage, that survived an environment like the plantation when literally other groups of people were brought there and died because they couldn't make it. You did. I mean, maybe some people get discouraged by a lot of that stuff, but for every reason that our culture is destroyed, it's not like there weren't any low-key advantages. And, you know, if you're really honest with a lot of people at the end of the day, that's something they're terrified of. We are the first, probably, you know, by definition, genetically modified human beings. And even though we're going to have to struggle with the concept of identity, we're moving into an era where human beings for the first time are going to be charged with the challenge that we were born with. We have the initiative. The ball really is in your hands, and it's free for you to sit down and make that decision if you're willing to apply the discipline to transcend and get over this. So that's really my perspective on that. Take what's useful, leave behind what isn't. But I still want to see us win. In the meantime, man, enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you guys in these streets. Os.
Os. Thank you, nameless protagonist. Wow. If anyone is very hard to follow up, it's going to be the nameless protagonist. A welcome member of the collective known as the Black Manosphere. Go check his channel out. Chaos Reign, you want to go ahead and get it out of the way?
Yeah. Thanks, Kev. The Weekend Warrior, like always. You know, you go out in the weekend, you slay these chicks up. A new one. But you know, like I said, the silent killer is apathy. One thing we could do better as men is know that this environment has been posed, but always be cautious. You get me? Because there are many tricks, many avenues that will shut down your progress as a Black man. I tell you personally, you must overcome it and strive and succeed to best of your ability. Because, like Nima said, that the Black American man is somewhat altered, genetic modified two-way, but not in a bad way. Because when you mix around with genetics, you create what we call a monster that will one day will rise and take its right position. And I think Black people in America could do it. So they have to make a conscious decision, you know, and don't let no person slow you down, including a bitch. And that's all. Thank you.
All right, Chaos Reign. And yeah, it's another content creator. Go check him out. I do have a broadcast or two of his in my community tab, which I do emphasize the importance of any of these content creators. If they do have a community tab available to check, they definitely check it out. But you know, thanks once again for coming by, Chaos Reign. Now, Perfect Timing Podcast hosted by Big D Rants.
Thank you, Kev, for having me on the panel. This has been great talk tonight. And yeah, it's hard to follow Nameless, man. That brother is powerful. Like, he's really inspired me with this brotherhood concept that I'm really driving home. And I want to say thank you to you and Roger for allowing me to be part of this brotherhood. And when he comes in with these solutions, we're talking about apathy tonight. I looked up the definition and I'm gonna read it. Apathy is a lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. How I couched it is, and I love this competition that me and Kev has developed because it's making me better as a content creator. Thank you, Kev. How I couched it is a race to the bottom. When you talk about a lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern, I've said that what you have here is a race to the bottom when you have people eroding standards and ignoring standards. And the question tonight was how far and how low do you have to go before any healing is concerned? And what I love about the conversation, that action items are always birthed in this place, and you have true merit. And the action item was the in-group politics. It's not about bashing black women. It's not about fixing black women. It's about the in-group politics and fixing us and working on us and creating that, what Nameless talked about tonight, and really understanding the power of culture. I've called it WAP culture. It's kind of what I like, I like to use, like, dramatic stuff, and I'll be loud and stuff, but I want to scare people with that term WAP culture. And you put that with that article and what Nameless taught you tonight, and how how that culture can trickle down to your baby girl, and how it can be so persuasive with women and young women. And that's what's happening. I heard a young man talk about how Nicki Minaj affected his upbringing, and in high school, all the women wanted to be bisexual. I didn't know that. I was way older than high school age when Nicki Minaj came out. But this is how this culture is affecting our young girls. It's creating this apathy. It's creating this race to the bottom. So what do you do? What I said, what I'm going to talk about next, Kev, is the race to the top. The race to the top, not to focus on the race to the bottom, not to focus on the apathy, because you could do that. You can make money off of that. And there are individuals who will profit off the apathy. There were individuals who will profit off the race to the bottom. I want to do the solution-based action items that Nameless has talked about, that gets talked about with the habitual line steppers on the Roger Report. I want to talk about the race to the top. The initiative to focus on the fact that young black boys are not reading, and this individual and this culture that's being created, how it affects young black boys and how it affects young black men, and what we're expected to do to uphold their ability to have this apathy. So I want to focus on the race. Rogan said the other day, he said, I like the way that sound, because I've been trying to phrase how I'm going to approach, young men, and what I want to say, and what I want to do. And he said, that's a good way to look at it. Race to the top was unsuccessful. It was pushback because it checked the teachers. It held the teachers accountable. And now you might say, well, how young black boys don't be able to read? Shouldn't teachers be fired? I would agree that teachers should be fired, and that's what Race to the Top said. But then that failed because tonight it was said that they don't want us to have power. They don't want our little boys to be literate. So we could laugh at this issue, you could laugh at the apathy, or we could focus on the results of the culture, how it's affecting our young boys, and we could get to a race to the top. Thank you, Kev, for having me, man. Thank you, bro. And I'm gonna work on doing some pre-recorded, and I really thank you for creating this great content, because I look at it as I've said that part of the brotherhood is us being able to have healthy conflict. And in my video about Race to the Top, God showed me something else, is that we need to be able to have also healthy competition.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Keeps us sharp. Iron sharpens iron.
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for your final statement. Perfect Timing Podcast, hosted by Big D Rants. Yeah, another content creator that's in my community tab, so definitely check them out. And if you're not sub to them, go ahead and sub. Okay. Well, let's listen up, people. This apathy thing is slowing us up, and it's only gonna get worse. And hopefully, it's one of those things that it gets worse before it gets better. But it just doesn't seem that way. People are content with the apathy, but not only content with the apathy, they're also content with holding the next person back from destroying the said apathy. So, gotta stop being apathetic, because you look where that's getting us. Is apathy has gotten us sagging pants. It's gotten us a bunch of sons that's going to prison. Uh, no race to the top. Race to the top is something that Perfect Timing is going to push, and that's the beauty of being a content creator. You can push whatever messages you feel like need to be pushed. And the next step of that is to get those messages to resonate, because we are dealing with an apathetic group of people. Doesn't mean you love them any less. Doesn't mean that. So, once again, I'm going to say this, because I am fucking tired. Save the cooperative. Long live the habitual line steppers. In Kev we trust. And I will definitely see you guys next week, God willing. Be on the lookout. I will be dropping some content this week, especially before the weekend show. So peace to you all. Have a safe week. And long live the habitual line steppers. Goodbye.